Get 'em Jimmy, where low shack at. The bottles getting nippy up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, July 15th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Nice bounce back day for me yesterday. 4-2 plus 2.85 units in MLB, 1-0 plus 1 unit in CFL. Elks plus 9.5 outright winner. How about that, Danny Machocha? Don't ya, Manny Machocha? Don't deserve the job, Danny. That's what happens when you take shit you don't deserve. Things don't always work out for you. Elks, outright winner. Feels good. Thank you guys all for those of you who joined us also on the horse racing stream yesterday. We may be doing an earlier Cash at Fridays on Friday for Delmar's opening Razor Sharp Pick Show. Razor was great on the show, co-hosting with me as always. It was not a great day. Well, it was a lot of fun capping the horses with everybody, but I did not. It was not a very successful day. I did get some nice winners late to get me closer to the black, but it was a losing day in horses. All covered though, and also I lost that WNBA bet to start out the day. But the MLB winners and the CFL winner took care of that. I feel good. Also, Clint says you're sweating out Kraken this morning. I did not drink Kraken yesterday. I knew that I had a show today, and Kraken is just it's fucking gasoline, man. So I just drank the spiced rum. That's just 35%. Fucking child's play. Child's play. But man, the bigger story here for us on the show today is Babano is still dealing with COVID, but yet he's going to fight the good fight, and he will be joining us to break down CFL and MLB. Another casher in CFL. Feels good. We're now 15-7, hitting at 68.2%, plus 7.35 units. ROI plus 33.41%. Average line minus 111. We have a game tonight, Stamps Bombers, that we'll talk about. And then tomorrow we have Roughriders Argonauts at Arcadia University in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Fucking Wolfville has a CFL game. 10,000. They renovated their stadium to allow 10,000 fans in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Then 5 p.m. Eastern, Ottawa Red Blacks, Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I'm on the Tiger Cats. First quarter and first half. I mean, come on. You're telling me that Caleb Evans is going to the Louisiana Monroe Warhawk? You know, in his career with Louisiana Monroe, 58 touchdowns and 34 interceptions. In the CFL, he's thrown, 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions? Come on. Nasty Nate took one horse, number 8 in race 1, good money. That was a beautiful bet. And a lot of guys, Razor was off to a great start. He cashed that as well. In MLB yesterday, Cubs first 5. Again, the only bet I made before I joined you guys was a fucking loser. But when we work together, we dominate. Atlanta, Washington, first 5 over 5, casher. Reds, first 5 plus 145, casher. Boston, Tampa Bay, first 5 under 4, casher. Boston, Tampa Bay, first 5 under 7, or full game under 7.5 was a loser. My lone loser when we worked together, because White Sox, first 5 plus 145, casher. Sammy Comer was on White Sox, first 5 plus a half, and then the big Ragu got on it as well. And I could only get that first 5 plus half and minus 115. So I said, fuck it. Let's take the money line plus 145 and cashed it. So that's one time when the books thought they were fucking me. But no, sir. I threw my elbow into their back, threw them onto the ground, and fucked them. Shout out to all the cappers joining us. Viper and Beast. I didn't lock any plays. Going to cap with the chat. I've only locked in one play thus far, and I had to bet it. I just felt like everything correlated as well, except for Kyle Gibson's great start last out. But I'm on the Marlins first 5 minus a half, minus 120. There's my guy, Jay Peasy, who drops our intro song. Shout out to Jay Peasy. And there is Nut Flush Allen in the house. Nut Flush, what a guy. Not only did he just celebrate his anniversary with his lovely wife, Kristen, but it is his eldest daughter, Bailey's birthday. Cal Baptist, first year. She graduated from first. Well, I guess you don't graduate until you. But what a successful first year in university for Bailey. Happy birthday, Bailey, the leader of the Nut Flush family right there, Bailey. It's so important when you have the eldest child leading by example, because then the other kids look up and see your success or his success, whoever the eldest child is. It's so important. Bailey, I hope my eldest daughter, Ella, my eldest child, follows in your footsteps. Happy 19th birthday, Bailey. They're going off to the lake to celebrate. I hope you have a spectacular birthday. 19 years old, Bailey Allen. Mike M in the house. What's happening, my man? Viper NBAJ. And there's Sammy Calmer. Says, what up, another winner with White Sox first 5+1/2. Found this MLB board really difficult, but I moved on Mets Cubs first 5 under 4.5. Stro show at Wrigley. It's at Wrigley, right? I got a lot of these games kind of combined into one. But we'll break that down. Mike M ready to go. G Martinez says CFL's nuts. That was a great game. Fun to watch. Taylor Cornelius. Oklahoma State's own Taylor Cornelius.
Hiya!
It was awesome. It was so much fun watching him. Oh, he was awesome. He was moving his legs. He was running all over the place. He was making big plays. He was I don't think Trey Ford gets that job back.
Mike Gundy, baby. Mike Gundy. Never a doubt, Taylor Cornelius. Never a doubt. Big Elks guy right here, straight from Edmonton.
I love the Elks hat. That might be a good gift for you. I will look into that. That would be a great gift for you. Serious business. Rodney Barton ready to get to work. Chief. Slatsy says, imagine the Jays losing to Royals, missing 10 players. You know, I was thinking about this Jays team last night, and I now think that it wasn't just a small sample size fluke that they weren't hitting with runners in scoring position. Maybe we don't have clutch players other than, I think, George Springer. I mean, it's fair to say that Springer is clutch. But other than that, I worry about this baseball team. They might not be winners. They might not be clutch. I worry. I worry very much about this baseball team. Shout out to all the guys joining us. We have a lot of work to do. And Harold Williams says, congrats on whoever took the Royals money line. Who took the Royals money line? Do we have anybody here who has big enough balls to take the Royals money line?
I'm sorry, Kyle Henley.
Oh, yeah. I don't like hearing that. Kyle lost, but great job. Great job. Slatsy says, I love your take on Machocha. What a weasel. Well, you know what? My mom's a shrink. My stepdad's a shrink. And Machocha didn't earn this spot. And he's a fucking dick. And we made money off of it. It's rare you see a coaching move like this not help a team. But in football's very tough. Very tough to have these coaching changes. But I don't like Machocha. And I don't like, I guess he sees himself as wants to control the defense, and that's why he had to let Baron Miles go too. But I don't like him. Controller Vessel said if I would have bet the Red Sox and Giants first 5, which I initially was going to do, would have been 4-0 night. Had those Elks though. Nice. Those Elks, I love this. Slatsy says, so you're telling me I shouldn't be on Marlins first 5? I guess so. I mean, that my gut is not a winner. Oh, look at this. Gary Malone says Jose is magical. Jose is magical from Gary Malone. Jose getting a lot of love for these huge ballsy scores, man. Damon Santori says, my eldest daughter loves K-pop, and I'm terrified my son's starting to like that. And says, happy birthday, Bailey. Yes. There's a song that my daughter sings from the Ninja Kids, and she sings it. It's like, we became best friends. You always have my back. And Carter is trying to sing it, but he can't speak yet. And it's very amusing as he's trying to sing it. I'd much rather have that than K-pop. All right. Thank you, guys. 6-3 day. I love it. My gut is on a timeout due to the Cubs. Yes, saturated. I get it. I like Jose's eager face, says Jonathan Maltai. Look, we're getting a lot of love for Jose. There's Richie Rich in the house, and Slatsy says, man, not flush Alan wedding anniversary and daughter's birthday, day apart. You better be making winning bets. You know he is. There's Robert Franklin in the house, little 5-teamer. Ooh wee, Robert. 12 bucks did 429. Oh, I love that. Love reading that. There's my guy Robert Cherry, officer of 50 Ayashi Allah in the house. Mike M. Lucas Ryan, Imagine Royals money line parlays, the Reds money line. Elks were plus 1,000 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Wow, I didn't know that. You know, I think my reads on Danny Machocha and Chris Jones are on point. Jeffrey Monroe says, thanks for the Elks. Your CFL's money. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah, 15-7. But we have a CFL expert joining us. And I think there's a reason why we've come out of the gate so successful in CFL. It's all of us working together. Look at the Wizard of Jose. Look at all that love he's getting. And Fopatashi says, my daughter sings the same song. It's not Ninja Kids. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah, thank you, Fopatashi. Yes, my daughter sings it nonstop and plays it over and over again. All right. When is the Babano and Jimmy musical hitting Broadway? I told you that was the best I could do there. I do sing like Kate Bush, though. So forever at karaoke, and you can sing like Peter Gabriel. I can sing like Kate Bush. We'll sing Don't Give Up. All right. Welcome our first guest and lone guest. Because, you know, Jose's not a guest on this show. Jose is this show. It's the backbone of the show. But we have our first guest here every Friday with us and still dealing with the effects of COVID. But he dug deep. To give us the goods. He's coming off a great day 2 weeks ago. I know why he still wanted to get on our show last Friday, even though he was so sick. He went 5-2 in our last show together in MLB, and he's got a nice, juicy MLB record still. You know, and what a roller coaster ride it is tracking Babano's action. But all that matters is where you are when it's all totaled up. And where he is 56-49, hitting at 53.3%, plus 3.99 units, ROI plus 3.80%, average line minus 106. And he's here for you right now, fighting the good fight. Please welcome to the show from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada's Steel Town, Canada's black and yellow, Babano in the house. How are you, my man?
Yeah, Jimmy, it's good to be with you. I mean, we are still playing through a voice that's not back to 100% just yet, but we're hoping that it gets back to 100%. And look, I mean, it's rough. This is you can't even resemble or recognize me when you hear me talk right now, but it is what it is. We're fighting through it, and here we are. I'm glad it's so amusing, Jimmy.
Oh, the bass got me by surprise, dude. The bass, sorry.
Yep.
The bass got me by surprise, man.
Ian, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen you do. That was I've never experienced something like this.
Oh, the bass.
It is the way it's got to be, because every time I get my voice back into my normal tone, it's a coughing fit.
You gotta keep this. You gotta keep this voice. You're now
like
big
that
Babano.
Babano tone.
Oh, Babano tone.
That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty
Babano white. Oh God, that bass caught me off guard. I think you're gonna have no trouble with the women if you can keep that voice just the way it is. No trouble.
By the way, happy belated birthday, Babano.
Oh, when was Babano's birthday?
Yesterday, right?
Yep.
Oh man, my bad. Happy belated birthday to our Basie Babano. Man, were you able to go? Are you going to be able to go to the Ticats game tonight?
We're going to find out later today when we test. So hopefully we pass the test.
Oh man, God, sorry, I can't. Gerald Jones says temptation base. Oh my God, they're gonna have women all over you tonight with that voice, Babano.
I know. I got to show off the voice tomorrow.
Just whisper in the women's ears. Yeah. They're gonna love every second of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Pedro says the game is tomorrow. Thank you, Pedro. Of course, because I bet it. It's actually it's Saturday at 5, right? Yeah. Oh man.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Man, it's been a shit show of a week with this thing. It really
so
has. It's
sorry.
been absolutely terrible. I couldn't even talk for a few days, or I could, but every time I talked or got a sentence out, it was a significant coughing fit. It was pain in my throat every time I opened my voice. It was absolutely horrible for the first couple days. I'm now at a point where I can talk without pain. I'm at a point where I can talk without coughing unless I raise my voice to my usual tone. And every time I raise my voice to my usual tone, still I'm coughing. So that's why I've got to keep it, lower register, lower tone of voice. It's the way it's got to be until this thing finally kicks the bucket for good. The thing, not me.
Well, we love having you back in action, and thank you for fighting the good fight. We have.
It's not like Jordan flu game or anything. I'm not playing through.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what kind of numbers you
a
produce.
broken leg or a broken ankle or something.
No, it could be the Jordan
can't
flu
compare
game.
it to that.
Let's see you sweep the board here. Let's see you sweep the board here.
Let's try.
Pedro,
Yeah.
Pedro Echeverria says, Babano bought me a beer at the Ticats game. Says, thanks, Babano. I owe you a drink. There's Razor Sharp Picks to say today here in the chat. Says, it's the best day of the week. Cash at Fridays. You were so much fun, Razor, yesterday. Thank you for co-hosting with me. And I agree with the chat, Razor. I think that we should start Cash at Fridays early next Friday. So I don't mind getting it started for the opening at Del Mar. So we'll have a long Cash at Fridays, and you can take over when you come back from work. I've always said I drank too much last night. Ouroboros. I got to figure out how to pronounce his name. But he says, send me the Discord link, please. Could you pop the Discord link in the chat for us? Okay. Magellan Sports says Kraken helps out with the voice. It does. It will. But okay, let's get to Ouroboros. I'm changing my damn
Helps
name.
out with the voice, not the stomach. All right. That's the problem.
Oh, there's Big Show popping the Discord link there in the chat. Okay, and just news in right now. Why is the game postponed? We have a postponement in MLB. That's surprising.
Yeah, Mets and Cubs, rain.
Oh, of course. Okay. All right. So, sorry, they were saying it's sunny in New York, but yeah, postponed the Cubbies game. Okay. Well, we can skip that, but let's get to work in
All
CFL.
you fucking degens that insist on betting the early afternoon Friday game at Wrigley, you can cool your heels now.
Yeah, that does make things easier. Because I don't know what Stroman's going to do at home. And okay, let's get to work, Babano. We start Friday, July 15th, and we are talking CFL football. Those of you who are like, I don't want to talk CFL football. Look, we keep making money in CFL football, so we will break it down. I'm now 15-7 after last night's win.
CFL's great.
Elks. Yeah, it's a great, and I'm telling you guys, 9-team sport. Jump in. Water's nice, and it doesn't take long to know these teams. We have a very tough one. Undefeated teams matching up at IG Field in Winnipeg, Manitoba tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Calgary Stampeders 4-0, 2-0 on the road at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 5-0, 2-0 at home. And both teams are coming off dominant showings. Dominant showings. Let's just quickly go to the line history first before we get this rolling. Here we go. No movement here. Calgary, Winnipeg opening up at 4, with Winnipeg being the favorite. There's been no movement at Bet365. We're going to go over to the total here. This total opened up at 45.5 and is all the way up to 49. Wow. Climbing and climbing. There's Brian Watson. And as G. Martinez says, I come here for the CFL. Stella Girl says 30-yard deep end zones and illegal motion is allowed. What's not to love? There we go, Stella Girl. I respect. I love it. I think Snoop Dogg said the same sort of thing. Well, he loves the illegal motion allowed. He loves that part of it. So both teams coming off dominant showing. Stampeders destroyed the Elks 49-6 last Thursday to improve to 4-0. They're averaging 298.8 yards passing a game. That's very impressive, but we know how dangerous and tough this Bombers defense and how tough it is in IG Field. The Bombers went to British Columbia on a short week and smashed them. Very, very impressive. Their special teams were unbelievable. 191 yards on kick and punt returns, 429 yards of offense. Zach Caleros finally, it's kind of a very slow start to the season. 288 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. The defense was incredible. The noise was heavy, but they shut down that crowd immediately and picked off Nathan Rourke 3 times. Jackson Jeffcoat is probable, but their center, Michael Couture, out. Nick Dembski, wide receiver, out. Brandon Alexander, defensive back, out. Kyrie Wilson, linebacker, out. Mercy Maston, linebacker, out. And Jesse Briggs, linebacker, out. That's a lot of linebackers to be missing here. The Stampeders are in a much better situation, but they've got issues at defensive back. 4 DBs out: Moxie, Dozier, Elliott, and Kobe Williams. Take it away here, Babano. I haven't moved on this spot, and I'd love to hear your breakdown. Stamps, Bombers.
Yeah, it's whoa, that was rough. Definitely when you look at it, I did look at the over, and I did bet the over in this game, but what the fuck? I mean, it's at 48.5 now. It's very difficult to say, yeah, let's take it at 48.5. When I think when I bet it, it was 44.5 at FanDuel on like Tuesday night. I mean, it's just 4 points the worst of the number. I don't know if I want to jump in there and make it official. I still lean over the total for sure. I like the way these two offenses are operating. I like the way Bo's played. Now, the one concern with this over, especially now after the move, the 4-point move in the total, is that Bo Levi Mitchell is going to face probably the best defensive front he's seen all year. There's no question about that. We know what Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson can bring. We know Adam Bighill's an elite linebacker in this league. We just know that they can get after the quarterback. So that's going to be the test for the Calgary offensive line. They will be tested tonight more than they have at any point this season. Can they hold up in pass protection? Can they still open up holes for the run game? Because they have a really good one in Kadeem Carey. He's been terrific running the football for the Stampeders. Can they block? Can they protect? That's the biggest part of the handicap as far as I'm concerned for this game tonight. Winnipeg, just a great job, by the way, against BC. I can't express enough how impressed I was with the Blue Bombers, especially for someone that loved BC last week and was totally wrong on that. They were just impressive. Both sides of the football. They contained that Nathan Rourke. They forced him into mistakes, which have been rare for him this year. Zach Collaros it looked like Zach Collaros in his prime with the Ticats. It looked like Zach Collaros back in Cincinnati in college football with the Bearcats. Brian Kelly was coaching them way back then. That's how long ago it was. Running around, extending plays, making it happen, keeping plays alive. Just Houdini act from Collaros multiple times. Huge second down conversions to keep drives alive last week. He was just outstanding for the Bombers. The defense was opportunistic. And you factor in the scheduling situation that they played Toronto on a Monday night. They had to fly all the way to the West Coast, play on a Saturday, the very next week. I mean, it's a difficult scheduling spot. Not only did they overcome it, they played a phenomenal game against a really good BC team. So I'll be damned if I'm betting against Winnipeg. I don't know. I don't understand how lack of respect this team keeps getting. They're only laying 3.5, 4 at home. Zach Collaros has not lost a game in this stadium since he's been with the Bombers. That is unreal. He's 11-0 at IG Field as a starter. 11-0 straight up as a starting quarterback at IG Field. And they're only laying 3.5 and 4. I know these are two undefeated teams. I know we're supposed to view them on the same playing field. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that. I look at Calgary. They beat Edmonton twice. Edmonton's not great, albeit they won last night. I think that's more Montreal screwing up than Edmonton looking good, as far as I'm concerned, last night. And so they beat Edmonton twice. They were lucky as shit to beat my Ticats. I'll never forget that. Coming back from the dead to win that game. I don't think they looked that impressive week 1 against Montreal necessarily. I think there is a little bit of a difference between these two teams, and quite honestly, it's not reflected in the number. You know what? I need to get a little more aggressive with CFL, so I'm still going to make the over an official play, even at the, I think you can still get, I believe, 48 in a couple of spots. Let me just see. Actually, that might not be that. We'll go with at Bookmakers got it at 48 minus 115 to the over. So we'll go with that at Bookmaker Chris. And I'm going to take Winnipeg. Minus 3.5 is out there right now at Heritage. I'm going to make that an official play too. I have been leaning Winnipeg all week. I understand there's some concern. They were in Toronto. They flew to BC. Huge game against the Lions. Beat the Lions. Now they're playing a Friday, another somewhat short week. Is this the week where they fall flat? I can't imagine that. I can't imagine this being a letdown spot. Not when you're at home. Not when you're playing for first place in the West Division. And I think they're still a little bit better than Calgary. And I'll bank on the fact that Zach Collaros is undefeated in this stadium. He has not lost a game in Winnipeg. They've been just amazing in this building. And how many opportunities are you going to get to lay 3.5 or 4 with Winnipeg, the 2-time defending Grey Cup champions, on their home field? Sign me up.
I love it. We can get you that 3.5 at -109. Calgary's had a penchant of starting slow this year, and we didn't see it against the Elks, obviously, last week. But I'm going to move on the Bombers first half -2.5.
And when you beat the shit out of someone like they did against Edmonton, sometimes you think the next game it's going to be a little too easy. It was just everything was so easy for them last week against Edmonton. It might be a little bit of a wake-up call tonight.
Yeah, I like it. I like your spot on the full game. They've just, the Stamps have, Bo Levi Mitchell, that veteran presence, he just seems to be able to take the whatever punches come his way and kind of regroup in the second half. I like your look. I don't want to double up, but I expect you to cash. I love that we found you a 48 at -115. So you don't, because man, that the total's climbing fast. But I'm going to move on to -2.5. I haven't bet that yet, but after this breakdown, I'm going to move on the first half, and Babano doubling up here on the over and full game for Bombers Stamps. All right, I know you guys are talking baseball. Rob Free coming off a huge 7-2 day, talking about how he thinks Gibson shows up today versus Marlins bats. We all want to talk baseball, so let's get these last two CFL games out of the way so we can attack baseball. But this is a fun one. This is tomorrow, Saturday, July 16th. By the way, the Indy Toronto is right outside my apartment, so I'm gonna try to stay focused and not let the sounds of these fucking Indy cars bother me. Saskatchewan Roughriders 4-1, 1-1 on the road versus the Toronto Argonauts 1-2. Also, I'm gonna use their road stats, 0-1 on the road, because we're at Arcadia University in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, and it's fun when we head out east, and they love their football out there. Argos coming off their second bye week of the year. Strange getting these two early bye weeks. 2 weeks ago, they lost 23-22 to the Bombers. Their kicker missed the convert with 25 seconds left. It was unbelievable to watch him do that. It was right out in front of me. Andrew Harris has added a big dimension to this Argos offense, but I came into the year much higher on McLeod, Bethel Thompson than you, and he does not look good. And you're uncomfort with him at quarterback and not trusting him. I think it makes it. I agree with it now. I thought this was going to be a year where he stepped up, and finally, without the pressure, knowing that he was going to be the number one. That has not been the case yet. We'll see if that changes as the season goes on, but he does not look good. This was wild. This spread. Saskatchewan opening up at -2.5. They get up to -3, and they're back to -2.5. And I think the Saskatchewan Roughriders are sort of a tricky team because they're just bet on at home. Bet them at Mosaic Stadium. Then what do you do with them on the road? I'm not sure. We had them all. We were all over them in that 28-13 win against the Red Blacks. And remember, that market moved heavy against me during the show. It was wild. It moved 2 points. While after I gave out I broke it all down, why I was on it. Then it moved 2 points, as if they were listening to me and didn't agree with me at all. Their running backs, Jamal Morrow and Frankie Hickson, are rolling right now, combining for 110.2 rushing yards per game, 6.3 yards per attempt. And the Riders' defense is so good, 23 sacks, 10 sacks more than any other team in the league, and tied for the most interceptions. But again, their defense is dominant at Mosaic. And is it that good on the road? It really isn't. Almost all of these takeaways are happening at Mosaic. They have injury issues as well. And Garrett Marino, their defensive tackle, is suspended for his hit on Jeremiah Masoli. And Jeremiah Masoli now hurt due to that hit. And AC Leonard and Pete Robertson are questionable with injuries. And that's a big game changer. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. So let's hear what you have to say about this spot, Roughriders, Argos.
Yeah, I don't have much because I'm probably not going to bet the game. It's tricky. I'd actually lean Argos, and it sickens me to say that anytime I consider leaning toward the Argos. But I do have concerns about Saskatchewan away from home. I mean, their track record continues to be spotty, away from Mosaic Stadium. I mean, you get them at home. They've been absolutely outstanding. There's no denying that whatsoever. They won and covered against Hamilton, won and covered against Montreal, won and covered against Ottawa. 3-0 straight up in ATS at home. On the road, I don't think they were that impressive at Edmonton in week 2. That game was tied in the fourth quarter. Cody Fajardo and the Riders offense looked pedestrian throughout that football game. They really struggled to gain separation, and they only won that game by 10. And Edmonton didn't play well on offense. Not a lot of teams won't play well on offense against this Saskatchewan defense, which does continue to play well. And then, of course, they got absolutely ambushed at Montreal in their other road game, 37-13. So I do have a little bit more concerns backing Saskatchewan away from home. And I do think this is a winnable game for Toronto. And the one thing about the Argos was when, after that brutal first half against Winnipeg, and I'm shocked they were that bad in the first half after the embarrassing loss against BC, that they were bad to begin the game. I thought they'd be ready against Winnipeg early. They weren't, but they didn't roll over. They came back. They made it interesting. They fell a point short. They obviously lost the chance to win that game when Boris Beattie missed an extra point on what would have been the game-tying touchdown. So, I was impressed with the way the Argos battled back in that game, but I do think there's things that work in their favor. They're off 2 losses in a row. They need to win desperately. I don't trust Fajardo on the offense away from home. Not to mention Dan Clark, the center's out for them. Their left tackle's banged up. He's questionable. And they've got cluster injuries on the defensive line. AC Leonard may not play. Pete, one of their best pass rushers, he got injured last week. And that's what set off Garrett Marino. The fact that Pete Robertson, got injured. And then that set off that bonehead Garrett Marino to commit one of the most ugly, despicable hits on Jeremiah Masoli that you'll ever see. And thank goodness he got suspended for 4 games. And it's actually the longest suspension in CFL history. So I know there were some people saying only 4 games because I thought he could have got more too. But when you actually sit back and look, it's the longest suspension in CFL history the guy got. So you at least have to give them credit for giving him the number of games they did. So he's out. So they've got a bunch of injuries on the defensive front. And that could weaken the pass rush a little bit. Now, and that obviously bodes very well for McLeod Bethel Thompson because he can't handle a pass rush, Jimmy. We know that now. I mean, he's absolutely pathetic trying to throw the football and make plays against a blitz or against any sort of pass rush. And we saw that against Winnipeg. That was a horrendous pick 6 at the beginning of that game. I can't believe how bad that was. You're getting pressured by that great Winnipeg front, and you're chucking the ball to the wide side of the field off your back fucking foot. What do you expect to happen, man? I mean, you got to be better than that and make better decisions than that. Eat the sack. Take the sack. Eat the football. Don't do something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous what he was doing there, and it set Toronto behind early in that game against Winnipeg. I don't trust the guy flat out. I'm counting down the days if I'm an Argo fan until we see Chad Kelly in there. Give him a shot, at this point. So I don't love the matchup of this great defense, even though they're a little weakened up front by the injuries. I don't love the idea of that defense going up against this guy, a mistake-prone quarterback, an immobile quarterback. That's mistakes waiting to happen as far as I'm concerned. So I do lean Toronto. I do think it's a decent spot, decent situation. I've got questions about Saskatchewan on the road, but do I love it? No. And I might be willing to take a shot disagreeing with the move up on the total from 44 to 46. I don't agree with that. I think we could get a lower scoring game here. I don't see Saskatchewan marching the ball up and down the field, and I certainly don't think Toronto's primed to put up touchdowns in bunches against this defense, even if they are dealing with some injuries up front along the defensive line. So I would look at an under. I'd lean that way. I'd lean to Toronto, but nothing official as of yet.
Oh, it's a great breakdown. It's going to be a fun game. I think I'm leaning now towards the Argos. It's funny. They're saying here that in the line history that it opened at -2.5, but I saw the Roughriders at -1, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, well, I thought they were going to be bigger favorites. So it says here that it opened at -2.5, but I'm certain I know that
it did open at 1. It opened at Pick'em -1. I know because I saw the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah, so I agree.
They did come in on Saskatchewan early in the week. Yeah,
that plus 3 was available for a little bit, and it's the 2.5's now juiced. I don't think we'll see that 3 again. I love the breakdown. I'm leaning towards the Argos now as well. I think that everything changes now when they don't have that dominant defensive front. So, and they're on the road. So I like the breakdown a lot. Let's move on to 5 p.m. Eastern. Ottawa Redblacks at Hamilton Tiger Cats. We're at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton, Ontario. And what a start to the year the Tiger Cats have had. My goodness, Dane Evans just can't help himself. Just getting picked off.
And fumbles, that too.
Yeah, just not good. He's not being good. But I love them early. And I love them. I feel like they're a pretty easy cap right now. I moved on them first quarter -2 and first half -4, and I paid juice, and it's still available. Those prices for me in the book I have. It hasn't changed at all. I just don't trust this Red Blacks team, and I think they're going to start getting used to losing. This opened at 6.5. It's now 7.5. The total opened up at 44. It's gone up a half point to 44.5. The Red Blacks were beaten up 28-13 to the Roughriders last week. And as Babano mentioned, they lose Jeremiah Masoli to the serious leg injury after that hit from Garrett Marino. So now 23-year-old Caleb Evans is at quarterback, former Louisiana Monroe Warhawk. And he wasn't good for Louisiana Monroe. 58 touchdowns, 34 interceptions. Last year, 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completed just 59.3% of his passes. G. Martinez says, is Arbuckle going to start? What do you think here? Who do you think is the starting quarterback for the Red
I'm
Bulls?
hearing that it's probably going to be Caleb Evans because he just got there a couple days ago. He's barely had 1 or 2 practices. It's a new offense. So I would expect Arbuckle next game.
Okay, yeah, that's the way I was studying it, at least. The Red Blacks are averaging 18.3 points per game with Masoli at quarterback. So what are they going to do with Caleb Evans? I know Caleb Evans can move the ball with his legs, which adds a dimension, but I really believe that they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Dane Evans, as Babano was saying, has not looked good, but this is a perfect time for the Tiger Cats to smash, in my opinion. So I moved on them first quarter -2 at -115, first half -4 at -120. What are you doing for your hometown Ticats here, Babano?
The exact same 2 bets. First quarter, first half, -1 at DraftKings, -135. A little juicy, but I laid the juice. And -3.5, -145 for the first half. Also at DraftKings with those 2. So we'll make those official. This team's had no problem being ready to play, especially at home. We've seen it against Calgary, against Edmonton. They were ready to play at home, and they played great early in the game. They did. They were ready. They have a good game plan. He's getting criticism for this first time in his tenure as head coach, Orlando Steinauer, but he's had his team ready to go. They've had great starts to these football games. They're off a bye week. They're at home, and apparently the team is talking. Evans said it. Chris Van Zyl, the right tackle, said it this week that it was good to get away from the football field for a week during the bye week, clear our minds. We've had a lot of heartbreak. We've had a lot of frustration. Obviously, we're winless. We got to try to turn it around. So it sounds like the mental break was a good thing, just as much as the physical break for the Ticats. So I expected what we've seen from them repeatedly at home this year. A great first quarter, a great first half, and I'll be damned if I'm laying 7 with this team for the full game. There's no way I'm doing that. I've got to see 4 quarters. I've got to see 60 complete minutes. I've got to see a great football game start to finish, front to back from this team before I'm ready to lay this kind of number with them. I don't think Ottawa's going to necessarily be doing a whole lot offensively. If you saw Caleb Evans started a bunch of games last year for Ottawa, so he's got some experience, but he came in from Masoli, and he was dreadful trying to finish off that drive against Saskatchewan. Hamilton's got time to prepare for him now, design a defensive game plan. And to be honest, at times this has been a very good defense this year. This should also be as healthy as they've been all year. The secondary's getting some key pieces back. The defensive line's about as healthy as they've been. The offensive line, which has been very problematic all year, believe they're going to have the offensive line that they hope to start the season with on the field for them here against Ottawa, which should be good for them. So I expect the usual good start, and then I hope they hang on for a change in the second half. It would be nice. Don't blow a lead. Don't collapse. Don't do any of that bullshit. Finish the game. But I'm not putting my money on trusting them to finish a game. It's first quarter. It's first half Hamilton. Get in, get out, and bank on this team doing what they've done all year, play a great first half of football on their home field.
I love it. I love it. I'm completely with you. Tiger Cats off the bye week are going to smash. I really like them to smash.
Well, early in the game they will.
Yeah.
Latter half of the game, we'll see.
Yeah, and Caleb Evans could find himself, later, but I don't think he will right off the hop. I love it. I'd be very interested in a first half team total over for the Ticats, a pick 6, something like that. Wouldn't shock me. It's not available for me yet. But Babano and I on the exact same page. Ticats first quarter -2, first half -4, -115 and -120 respectively for me. Babano first quarter -1 and first half -3.5, -135 and 145 for him. I love it. There is your.
And by the way, crisis of confidence, I think, for Hamilton with the Grey Cup blowing the game against Winnipeg last year, and then the Calgary game. And it's just when they get a lead now, and then all of a sudden they have a big lead, the other team does something, they can't get the momentum back. And they start to think, uh-oh, here we go again. Woe is us. It's going to happen again. We're going to fall apart again. So it's a mental thing with this team. They've got to fix it. Hopefully they have on Saturday.
I love it. I love the breakdowns here. And I have interest in the Argos. I wonder if I will pull the trigger there. Babano's given us 4 looks. We just talked about the 2 Ticat looks. We have over 48 for Babano in Stamps Bombers and full game -3.5 for the Bombers. I'm on the Bombers first half -2.5. And we move on to MLB. But before we do that, we have a look from our big show picks who gave us an LFA action last Friday that cashed. So here we go. Matsumoto, Lopez, Oliveira, 3 fighters parlayed together at +147. So I'm going to make sure, unless Jose, if you could pop that back into the highlight that in the chat, that would be great. If not, I can copy and paste it here if you can't find it. MLB spreadsheet play today is in from Ron Crawford. Let me pop that here and get that ready to go. All right. And game 1 at 2:20 p.m. Will not be playing. So we don't need to figure out why Stroman's been so bad at Wrigley. And he's had 1 start back from IL. We don't need to break that down. So let me just get this ready to go. Red Sox, Yankees, spreadsheet play today on the Yankees. We will get Jose Bouquet on the show for that. And there's Dutch Boy Fresh in the house, co-host of the best show, the best new thing in all of sports gambling. And it's not just sports gambling, also life lessons. And that's Daily Sesh, 4:20 p.m. here with Dabra Kadabra as his co-host, Dabby Cab. Okay, let's get to work now into MLB. I'm excited about this. Great to have Babano back. He's coming off a 5-2 week 2 weeks ago. That was very impressive. He wanted to cut down his amount of action, his quantity of plays, and it worked very well for you. I did the same yesterday, cut down my quantity of plays, and it worked for me as well. It's been a terrible, terrible week for me, but did go 4-2 yesterday, plus 2.85 units, and cashed on 2 plus 145, first 5 dogs in the Reds and the White Sox. Lost the Boston Tampa full game under 7.5, but cashed the first 5 under 4, and cashed the Atlanta Washington first 5 over 5, and lost the only bet I'd made before the show started, Cubs first 5 plus 110. My ROI on bets I make without talking it out with you guys is bad. It's negative. And that leads us into the first game because I've already bet it. Marlins first 5 -0.5 at -120. I couldn't help myself with Sandy Alcantara on the mound. We've already heard Rob Free trusting Kyle Gibson here in this spot. And I don't know if I can. And that's why I did not move on the under. If I could trust him, I would move on the first 5 under, and I just don't think I can. He is coming off a spectacular start. 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, no walks, no 1-0 win at the Cardinals last out. But that was a rare great start. He hasn't had many of them here. There's been a 20-cent move to the Marlins, -150 up to -170. And from a total perspective, we have a 10-cent move to the under. But, and this is what kind of kept me off of it, I saw the 10-cent move to the under, and I thought, okay, I see that. I get it. Then here we have all the tickets and quite a bit of the cash on the over. 71% of tickets are on the over and 64% of cash on the over. But the market making the over more appealing to the gamblers by putting more juice on the under is also confusing. 79% of the tickets and 92% of cash on Miami, and we've seen it move 20 cents in their direction. Yeah, Nathan Cerna, Bryce Harper is still hurt. Ski Profit is backing Sandy and Darvish. First 5 team total under 1.5 for the Phillies, and Diamondbacks first 5 team total under 1.5. There is Ski Profits looks there, and I get it. Moose Money says full game under. Gibson versus teams with low slugging numbers are bet on. Bet on there. All right, so Gibson on the road, though, 0-2, 5.22 ERA, 263 opponents batting average. I'm going to take a look when Babano breaks down the game and see what are the lineups that have. I mean, I'm trusting Moose Money saying it's those teams with heavy slugging. Alcantara is just a beast, and he's on his way to win the National League Cy Young. 7 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 2-0 extra inning win at the Mets. But at home, he's just excellent. I mean, he's very good on the road too, but at home, 5-2, 1.59 ERA, 179 opponents batting average. Phillies are hitting 243, 712 OPS versus righties, and Marlins right there, 246, 710 OPS. Take it away, Babano. First game on the board for us as the afternoon game was rained out. Phillies, Marlins.
Yeah, this is definitely, I'm with you. I lean Miami -0.5, actually you can get -0.5, -110 at Pinnacle with the first 5 on the Marlins. I definitely lean in that direction. Sandy has bet on or pass all the way for me. It's been that way all year. I don't necessarily love Gibson's 5.2 ERA on the road, but he has actually pitched well lately. He pitched a gem against the Cardinals in his last start. It's not like Miami's hitting the ball a ton, so the first 5 under, definitely I could see that hitting as well. When I look at it here as well with this Philly, with Gibson against Miami, he just completely shut them down just recently as well. Last month, he pitched a gem against the Marlins. So that does concern me a little bit. Sandy is going to the All Star game. There is something to that. Dom Ricci brings up a really good point, especially these pitchers that have not been accustomed to going to All-Star games in the past necessarily. That last start before the All-Star game, sometimes you're off your game. Sometimes you're thinking of what's about to happen as opposed to what's going on, and that can sometimes lead to a little bit of a worse start. So I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I certainly like your bet there. Certainly it's a bet that I've made a lot this year, and it's been very successful. That Miami first 5 -0.5 with Sandy on the mound. So I have no qualms about it. But right now I'll just might add it before the end of the show, but for now it's just a lean.
All right, there you have it. That game starts off at 6:40 p.m. Eastern. I love those 6:40 games on Friday nights. Now, another very important point, and I want to say this out loud, and it's just for me to hear it. But when I started down in Costa Rica, I would have bad Fridays, and so would Pete. And we thought it was because we were exhausted. We were just tired from the whole week of capping. Now, we only have one sport that we're really hammering other than CFL, obviously, right now. And I shouldn't be exhausted on Fridays, but the last 2 Fridays I've had were really bad. And I just want to say that out loud so that I can keep my action to a minimum or strike where I have a lot of confidence. So
that's kind of like what I'm doing too. Like I'm on the fence here with this one. I might add it, I might not. Yeah.
That was more for me there. All right, let's keep rolling. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. The Atlanta Braves 54-37, 23-17 on the road at Washington Nationals, 30-61, 14-34 at home. Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. I'm gonna have to refresh the weather, so I'll get to the weather here after I break this down quickly. Ian Anderson going up against Patrick Corbin. Corbin had put together some nice starts in a row. He's been much better at home. And he just faced this Braves team that rakes lefties. All the teams that destroy lefties, they're all facing a lefty today. So we're going to see a few of these. The Rockies are facing a lefty. You have the White Sox facing a lefty. And you have the Braves facing a lefty. So the top 3 teams against lefties are all facing them today. Corbin just faced the Braves, and he was pretty good. 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 2 walks. He had just a horrific start to the year. He's got this huge contract here, and he's been a little better of late. 4-11, 5.70 ERA, 1.67 WHIP, 94 2/3, 83 Ks, 15 home runs. Let's take a look at the line history in this Braves Nat spot where the cash is and set a little bit more of a table and then hand it over to Babano. We have a huge move to the Nats. Huge. And the initial move was towards the Braves. So this came out at 6:51 p.m. yesterday. the Braves were minus 200. It moves 20 cents towards them at 8:30. And then since then, there's been a 55-cent move to the Nats. So pretty wild stuff. Braves are now minus 165, Nats at plus 145. Then from a total perspective, the 9.5 is juiced to the under. Let's see if there is, and there it is right there, of course. There are 3 teams here, according to Sports Insights, with full line value. We have been tracking these line value spots at Sports Insights. Our guy BLab69 has been, and they're very profitable. And full line value for the Nats. So 11% of the tickets on the Washington Nationals and 58% of the cash. Wow. 73% of the tickets on the under and 88% of the cash on the under. We have Ian Anderson, who's looked better in a 4-3 extra inning win at versus the Nats. Last out, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 4 walks. He's not been very good this year. 4.98 ERA, 1.51 WHIP. He's been a little better on the road than he's been at home. 5-3, 4.72 ERA, 257 opponents batting average. Braves rake lefties. Nats are doing a little better against righties. Take it away here for us, Babano. Braves, Nats.
Yeah, it's tricky because when you look at the Braves, they should hit Corbin. They did the last time they faced him. They had a pretty good performance against him back on July 9th. 4 runs, 8 hits, 6 innings. What are you going to get from Washington against Anderson? Because Anderson's been all over the map. Anderson actually didn't pitch that bad against Washington in his last start. It was just recently, earlier this month against them. He went 5 innings. He gave up 2 runs. Not bad. Did have a few walks, 4 walks. You don't like to see that. He had a gem against the Cardinals before that. And then, of course, he got roughed up by the Dodgers and the Phillies before that. So it's just been everything. He's had some good, some bad. Like I said, he's been all over the map. He's been a little bit better on the road. Yeah, 4.72, but that's still not great. I don't know. I still don't trust Corbin fully. He struggled with the Braves the last time he faced them. Got crushed by them back on April 12th. Got crushed by them on August 14th last year. Got crushed by them August 8th. I mean, it's just one bad start after another for Patrick Corbin against the Atlanta Braves. And I don't trust Anderson against the Nationals necessarily. And look, both bullpens, they had to work last night, and Atlanta's bullpen had a few leaks late in that game. I mean, Washington hit a couple of home runs late to make that game 5-4 at the end of the day. And that's the tricky part. I do like the over. I am going to make it official. I was hoping it was 9, but 9.5, and I could see this being like last night. It's 5-4. It falls just short. But no, I think we'll get to 10 tonight with these two. I just don't trust either of these two starters. Both bullpens have been like the Braves bullpens actually had to work a little bit this week, and for as good a bullpen as it's been all year, you know what a workload can do to a bullpen. It makes you less effective. So I could see this bullpen giving up maybe a run or 2 late, and certainly Washington's bullpen's always capable of giving up runs late in the game. So I'm going to go over 9.5 here at close to even money.
Minus 102 at Pinnacle. I will check a couple different spots and see if I can beat that. Let's get the weather up. I apologize for not having it up earlier. So let's pull it up here. It's Swish. See what we.
Kenley Jansen nightmares last night again. We know what that guy's like.
Yeah, he's tough to trust. No doubt about it here. It's fine weather for pitching. 83 Fahrenheit, 5.1 miles per hour, right to left. It becomes slightly out by the end of the game, but we're talking under 5 miles per hour wind. There you have it. Locked and loaded for Babano, over 9.5 minus 102. I'm uncomfortable about this spot. Not applicable is not uncomfortable. He's on the Atlanta money line now that it's dropped to a price that he trusts here. Okay, so and by the way, Domigan Ricci's on the over Marlins game in that spot. Red Girl's also on the Braves. And
the whole lineup's also healthy again for Washington. Josh Bell was banged up. Juan Soto missed some games, but they're both in. And Nelson Cruz as well, I think, missed a game or 2. He's in. So it's a full bore lineup, too, for Washington. So that should help.
All right. So we're 2 games in. By the way, Stella Girl is looking at the race to 5 neither in that Phillies-Marlins game at plus 125, which is an interesting bet as well. Okay, I'm staying off that Braves-Nats game, but I did move on Marlins first 5 minus a half, and we roll on. And our producer of Betting with the Bag Jose Zenyatta lamb chop, 1 whole bouquet, has stopped himself from betting on his Boston Red Sox. And it's a tricky thing to do, especially, Jose, when they are given full line value according to Sports Insights. Full line value on Eovaldi and the Boston Red Sox. 4,816 tickets in. 32% of the tickets on the Red Sox, 67% of cash. 85% of tickets on the over, 87% of cash on that over. Let's see what the line history is of this one. We have a not surprising move towards the Red Sox. A 10 cents, just a 10 cents move. They opened up at plus 155. They're now plus 145. From a total perspective, they opened up at 8.5 and are now 8. All of that is screaming to me to bet the Boston Red Sox today. The one thing that is not going to help, though, is that our Ron Crawford is on the other side. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is the New York Yankees. Here we go. Nate Eovaldi, 4-2, 3.16 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, 72 Ks and 68 in the third. He just faced the Angels on the road, and he was very good because he's been very good on the road all season long. In last start at Anaheim, 5 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, no walks. On the road, he's 3-0 with a 2.18 ERA, 210 opponents batting average. Montgomery last start was at Boston. So he's facing them again. He went 5 2/3, allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk. Not bad. He's had a good year. 3.19 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. But the Red Sox smashed lefties. 269, 779 OPS. Yankees versus righties, 244, 766 OPS. And we'll take a look at the weather in the Bronx here. And it's 8.7 miles per hour. It's right to left, right across the diamond, and goes down to 7.3 miles per hour. Jose Bouquet, we will start with you. What are your thoughts, knowing that spreadsheets on the Yankees, Sports Insights giving full line value on the Red Sox, Eovaldi, Montgomery? Let's start with your boys. What do you think of this spot?
Let me take this off, actually, because I just hear myself echoing. This is the day where I'm like the most angry about not being able to bet the Red Sox. It bothers me a little bit. I wish I could. It truly annoys me, and especially with the full line value on them as well. It makes me angry, but I can't. I'm on a 15-day suspension. I'm on. This is like the second day, I believe. So I'm not betting them today. But of course, if I could, I'd be betting the Red Sox today, and if I would be also betting the over. I said it last time these teams were playing. Every time these teams play, the games take 4 hours and they go over 10 runs. So I was a little surprised to see an 8. But Nasty Nate owns the Yankees. My only concern is he's coming off the IL here. This is his first start coming back. I forgot what it was. I think it was back spasms. Something with his back, I think. He's coming back off the IL from. So that's the concerning spot. But he owns them traditionally. I like them today. I like the back-to-back starts with Montgomery for the Red Sox case there. And I expect a full lineup today and a response because I told you guys, I don't give a fuck if we get swept by the Rays. If we come out and play well against the Yankees, then it's all good in the hood. So this will start a panic if the Red Sox lose today. So I'll say that. So Red Sox need to win today. And of course, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are tied in the wild card, and they're holding on now by threads. Because I've been saying for the last week and a half, they are begging and crawling into the All Star break. They are just trying to get in there by the skin of their ass. They just need a break, and they need to get their arms healthy.
Joe Yurkovich says Jose can't bet his I love the way he puts this. Jose can't bet his Red Sox, but can he fade the Yankees?
Buddy, let me tell you, I can fade the fuck out of the Yankees. But I would not be betting the Red Sox. I cannot bet the Red Sox, but yes, I'd fade the fuck out of the fucking Yankees.
Jack Jenkins has unsuspended you, says you can bet the Red Sox today. Let's hear what Babano has to say about this spot. AL East battle, storied rivalry, Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah, this for me over the total. Going back to another over here at 8. I think we saw what happened when they met at Fenway. It was a slugfest pretty much every single game. Pitching was dominated by both of these two lineups. When you go into this game tonight, yeah, Montgomery's capable. We know that. And of course, you've got a guy that's been looked at as the ace of this Red Sox staff the last few years in Nathan Eovaldi. But I'm telling you what, I don't necessarily think either of these guys are fully trustworthy. I mean, we haven't seen, first of all, Eovaldi since June 8th. So he's been on the IL for over a month. And you know how I feel about pitchers coming off the IL. It's a concern for me. And remember, early in the year, there were some rough starts for Eovaldi. We'll see how he fares tonight. He's got an up-and-down track record, actually more good than bad against the Yankees he's been in the past. But I think the Yankees can do some damage. Montgomery, last couple of starts have been good, but before that struggled a little bit against the Red Sox. Here's another guy. His track record's actually not terrible against the Red Sox, but you got two lineups that are mashing the ball, and more than anything, two bullpens that aren't pitching well right now. Boston's bullpens had issues galore. Of late, their relievers allowed 10 runs in 11 innings against Tampa Bay in that sweep that they suffered at the hands of the Rays. That's not good. And don't look now, but all of a sudden, this just mighty Yankee bullpen looked human, against Cincinnati this week. All of the Clay Holmes is blowing games.
You hated to see it. I was broken up about it.
I'm sure you were, Jose. I'm sure you're just destroyed, just absolutely heartbroken, gut-wrenched by what was going on with the Yankees. But yeah, Loaizaga was blowing games. Clay Holmes blowing games. Like, these are relievers that have been lights out all year pretty much for the Yankees, and they didn't pitch well against the Reds. Lucas Lutke had a tough night last night in extra innings. So Yanks pen, for the season, their numbers look awesome. The last 10 days, their bullpen ERA is 4.5. It's just not at all a good ERA for a bullpen that we usually think of as very good, one of the best in baseball. So I'm shocked that the total's gone down. I totally disagree with the move. You've got two offenses that I think can take advantage of these pitching staffs, bullpens and starters. So I like over 8. I think it's a cheap bargain.
You have got over 8 locked in. That team total for the Red Sox, 3.5. Very, very appealing. I want the Red Sox. Jose can't bet them. I can. I'm going to. Jose, what would you like better here? Because I know the Yankees bullpen's vulnerable, but I kind of want to just focus on the Red Sox bats versus lefties. So I
would rather have first 5.
Yeah, so do I. Okay. I'm going to move.
And for what it's worth, I just submitted about an hour ago the picks for the best bet contest that we're doing. And this narrowly missed the card. This over. But I do really like it.
Moving from 8.5 to 8 this total. We can get you the over 8 at -105. Don Mack also being very interested in that team total over 3.5. What do you like better, Jose, between the Red Sox first 5 or Red Sox team total over 3.5?
Obviously juice is a factor, but it's probably the team total over 3.5.
Yeah, I kind of like both. Red Sox team total over 3.5. I think that's a better way of double dipping for me here. Stella Girl loving the over 8. Very interesting that the market moving down to 8 and not scaring anybody. Michael Buelna's scared. It scares me.
I mean, it's worrisome for sure. I don't know why they're moving it down, but last time this semi situation happened, it was on that 9. Remember that I was on the over, and then everyone seemed to get on that under 9 in the Yankee series, and that it obviously took extra innings. You get lucky, but it's still cash. So it's one of those things, man.
All right, my guy JP, he said, "Let's go." Yes, I am.
You know my thoughts on that bullshit. Dude, fuck the line moves. Fuck the movements. Trust your stuff. Trust your handicap. Trust the work you've done, even if it's against the market. Trust it.
Tell him, man.
I like it. Respect. So we have Babano on the over 8 at -105. I'm going to be moving on the Red Sox first 5 and the Red Sox team total over 3.5. I am going to weigh out whether I'd rather go first 5 full game. I guess, it scares me with Ron Crawford on the spreadsheet play today on the Yankees. Maybe I just leave the full game so that we can both win. All right, let's move on. 7:07 p.m. Thank you, Jose. Let us know if you are going to give us a say hey play today. Just hit me.
Well, you know what the say hey play today is. I think it might even be our next game.
Now I do. You're right. Oh, because it's not Greinke?
No, it was. It was. I saw it with Greinke -360. We're doing this all over again?
They're not announced. they don't have Greinke here. I'm very interested to.
Yeah, on Bovada, I had Greinke earlier. Actually, during the show basically because I finalized everything. It's Greinke on Bovada minus 360 for Alek Manoah. Fuck that. We're riding again. Let's go up to minus 400 again. Let's do it again. 3 straight. Again, Jimmy, I asked you this last night. At what point? When will the legendary handicappers like you two, Clint McLean, even though that's not even his name, that's fucking John McLean, Clint McLean, Dutch, when is everyone going to just jump on the bandwagon? I'm fucking driving this bandwagon since whatever the fuck, May 23rd. No baseball team should be above minus 300, and we'll keep fading them first 5 full game no matter what. And shout out to Ian, who got me on the first 5 full game bandwagon. So shout out to Ian because he also is a contributor to this. But we're taking them again, first 5 full game. Let's be royal one more time. And Jimmy, do you know the moment I knew we won that game last night, Jim?
What was that?
When Angel Zerpa was announced, and I knew he was from Venezuela. That's when I knew we would win that game. You said the whole time during the horse string, just sit. You don't have to watch the game. Just sit back.
How fucking maddening and aggravating are the Toronto Blue Jays lineup right now? You crushed one of the best pitchers in the National League, Zach Wheeler, the other night, and you can't get a lick off this Zerpa kid and a bullpen that's terrible.
Yeah, I know. It's truly terrifying. I mean, I don't get it. People have asked for the minus 300 record. I have not updated it since those back-to-back 3 wins in a row here. But I'll look it up again and I can see if I can tabulate some math. But I think I'll pull up this stat actually because I found
Jackson Kowar is shutting the Jays down last night. Seriously, that's embarrassing. That is,
beast. I'll tell you. So this stat or this tweet got sent in our lovely group message with minus 400s and all that stuff. The Toronto Blue Jays lost as a minus 400 favorite yesterday. Only 18 times in the last 14 years have a team lost as a minus 350 favorite or more. Despite being a favorite of blah, blah, blah. In their next game, teams have gone 8-9-14.5 units in that game after.
Wow.
So let's just it's not about the stats. It's not about anything about that. You got to stick with your principles. That's why I'm not betting on the Red Sox today. If I'm going to get talked into that over, we'll talk about that later on Say Hey Play, Say Hey 100 today. Very exciting. But I'm not going to bet the Red Sox because I'm suspended. I bet the fucking minus 300s or I bet against them because I have the rule. You have to stick to your guns and do the rules. And this is one of them. No matter how shitty it was yesterday, I texted Jimmy immediately as I realized, okay, this is going to be a minus 300. I didn't even look at the line. I texted Jimmy. I was going to be sick betting the Royals. And now I fucking love the Royals. Inject them right into my vein. You know what's best about this too, Jim? This is another one of your angles. Another one of your angles that you love. These are fucking a bunch of young kids. They don't give a fuck, dude. They've got no pressure on them. The Blue Jays have to beat this squad, and they're just lackadaisical or whatever. They can't hit the ball anymore, apparently. I got lucky as hell, apparently, with the Zach Wheeler shitting the bed on a team total over 4. But now they can't hit, like you said, Angel Zerpa, Jackson Kowar, all those boys. Come on. Zach Greinke's going to do his thing again. This is going to be another embarrassing loss for the Blue Jays. And
I'm telling you what, those soft tossers, they cause the Blue Jays fits. They really do. I mean, you throw gas at the Blue Jays, they crush it. You throw that slop that Zach Greinke's going to throw out there tonight, that's they're out in front of they're out on their front foot, and they end up swinging it. Like I could see Vladdy like last night several times. Strike 1, strike 2, one of these little stupid little EFA sliders by Greinke, strike 3, get out of there. That's what he's doing right now.
And it's the opposite from the beginning of the year when they were having trouble with the Heat. Then they catch up to the Heat, and now it's the soft tossers that are crushing them. It's just wild. So we got you a plus 301 at Circa. That's by far the highest I've found. Plus 301 full game. First 5, we'll stick with the Bet365 plus 270. That's the best one there.
I keep saying this. I've won technically 2, but I've won 1 already. That 1 pays for all these rest. I'm free riding for the rest of the time. Ron Crawford might not like my strategy here. He doesn't like that I'm betting on the Omaha Storm Chasers right now. But the Omaha Storm Chasers beat the shit out of the Blue Jays yesterday. You could have taken them minus 1.5 and you cash. So You know, I'll take my fucking 14 units up and ride off in the sunset. No problem with these dipshit 300s. Fools. Alec Manoah, trash can. Be royal today.
Okay.
That part probably a little overboard.
That one hurt a little. Alec Manoah, 9-4, 2.34 ERA, 0.98 WHIP. But they were winning all the games he was starting, and they've lost 4 of the last 5 that he has started. His last start, 7 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, 4 walks, and a 2-1 loss at the Mariners. At home, he's even better than he is on the road. 5-1, 2.21 ERA, 193 opponent's batting average. Greinke is the opposite. He's been pretty good in Missouri. You take him out, he's having trouble. Last start, he was at home, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk. On the road, he's 0-4 with a 7.46 ERA, 318 opponent's batting average. Royals rating 243, 679 OPS versus righties. You wouldn't know it, but the Blue Jays rating 261, 761 OPS versus righties. Let's take a quick look at the weather in Toronto. Going to be a beautiful day here. We got the Indy all weekend. 74 Fahrenheit, 6.8 miles per hour out to left center, drops to 5.5. Then we'll take a look at that line history because we did find that plus 301 impressively over at Circa. The money line at Bet365 has gone from 270 up to 300, and then it came back to 290. So it got up to 300 and came back 10 cents at 9:18 a.m. From a total perspective, it opened up at 8.5 minus 120 to the under. Now it's 8.5 minus 125 to the under. 5,787 tickets in. They do not give any value, Sports Insights, to either side at all. 71% of tickets, 77% of cash on the Jays, 70% of tickets, 85% cash on the under. Take it away, Babano, your take, Royals, Blue Jays.
Yeah, there's not much of a take for me. I'm not betting this game. I mean, it's just very simple. I mean, I think I would be reluctant. Like this feels like day late, dollar short if you didn't take Kansas City last night and you jump on them tonight. Because first of all, the Jays last night, I guess we could have seen from a mile away. They see that, Benintendi, Whit Merrifield, all these other guys are out because they're unvaccinated. They didn't make the trip, and you think it's going to be a layup, and you're kind of flat. And I think they kind of were last night. And look, they shouldn't be shut down the way they were by anybody on that Royals pitching staff, but they were. They celebrated the night before the win against Philadelphia like they won the World Series. It was the first win for the new interim manager, John Schneider. They had a big celebration. You could kind of see it coming that they were going to be a little bit off their game last night. Still shouldn't have lost, but they did. I think you'll get the Jays better, but again, where's the value? I mean, minus 360, it's an exorbitant price just to lay a run and a half with them on the run line. I do think Manoah will pitch well against the Royals, and Greinke's road numbers shouldn't lead you to believe that the Jays should hit him. But again, the Jays have had trouble with these soft tossing pitchers, and it's been a problem now for weeks. They are not seeing the ball well against these guys. They're out in front. They're swinging and missing. They're not patient. They're flailing away against these pitchers, and that's exactly what they're going to see. They're going to see a lot of soft shit from Zach Greinke tonight, and even with his bad road numbers, it's the kind of profile of a pitcher that's been working very well against this underachieving Blue Jays lineup right now. So I'm totally off the game.
I get it. Chairman Kim says it best. He says, Say Hey Plays is a must tune in, and you must tune in today as he celebrates 100 straight days, 100 straight shows. So impressive to get to 100. There's our guy, Jack Rosenblatt, in the house. What up, Jack? Wallaby King, ready to get to work as well. Stella Girl says, pass. And Jeffrey Blue says, going to keep riding with my guy, Jose. Hated it yesterday, and we cashed. Let's get it, Jose. Again, number 100 for Say Hey Plays today. Hope everybody can go support. He's got multiple special guests, so if you could please support and watch Say Hey Plays and celebrate his 100th straight show. We move on. I'm not making a move on it. 7:07 p.m. Eastern, Baltimore Orioles 45-44, 20-27 on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays, 49-40, 29-17 at home. We're at Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida. Can the Rays slow down the O's? Tyler Wells on the hill, 7-4, 3.28 ERA, 1.05 WHIP, 79 2/3, 53 Ks, 19 walks, and 10 homers. His last start was the spot where he went up. It was at home against Reed Detmers, and the idea was that the whole market was saying that Detmers was going to have a nice start, and he did. And it looked like the Orioles were in trouble, and they came back late. and won the game 5-4. I believe they won it in the bottom of the ninth. On the road, Wells has been a little worse than he's been at home. 5-4, 3.64 ERA, 226 opponents batting average. Then what are we going to get from Luis Patino? Luis Patino last started April 11th. He lasted 2/3 of an inning before the oblique injury, put him on the 60-day IL, and then he dealt with a blister afterwards when he was trying to come back. So he hit 78 pitches in AAA Durham in his most recent start. So he's expected to be able to go, he's not on a real tight pitch count, is what I should say. Let's take a look at the line history here in this Rays-Orioles spot. And the Orioles switching cities on this winning streak. I don't know if I can stick to this plan. I didn't yesterday. Rays opened up -120. They're now -125. The total opened up at 8, is now 7.5. Then when we go to the Sports Insights, where the cash is in this one for the Rays. Where is it? Sorry, take me a second here. We have slight line value to the Rays, 10%, maybe, 10% line value, I'd say, or maybe 12%. 6,607 tickets in. 67% of the tickets, 73% of the cash on the Orioles. 22% of the tickets, 93% of cash on the under, and it has moved to the under. So that all makes sense. Take it away here, Babano. Orioles, Rays.
Yeah, I mean, it's Baltimore. First 5 full game for me. Sign me up. It's been riding this team for a solid week and a half now. Why would I stop? Why? And this is my favorite pitcher to back on this team, Tyler Wells. He's been absolutely phenomenal. They've won it for basically every time he's been out on the mound recently. What is it now? 8 straight starts for Tyler Wells at Baltimore has won. They're 8-0 in Tyler Wells' last 8 starts. He's been absolutely terrific. Now, the one little concern is that he's been battered by the Rays in the past. He doesn't have a very good track record against Tampa Bay. But look, he didn't have great numbers last year. This is a new pitcher. It's a different pitcher. He's pitching well. Kind of struggled a little bit in his last start against the Angels. But, other than that, it's been binary code run allowance for Tyler Wells, 0s and 1s. He's been very good. Look, a little bit, his road ERA is still good enough. And I don't trust Patino. We haven't seen him since April. He made 6 minor league starts down there to get ready for 7 runs allowed in 17.1 innings. That's not great. Patino's starts down there. He got roughed up when he faced the Orioles a couple weeks ago. Of course, Shane Baz is now on the IL, and Patino's taken his spot. Just a ton of injuries for Tampa Bay. Just insane. They keep on losing more guys, more pitchers. It's just been unbelievable what Kevin Cash has had to deal with this year. I mean, they're tied with Cincinnati for most injuries, most man games lost to injury in baseball this year. And here's Tampa Bay still in a wild card spot. So I think we all know Kevin Cash is one hell of a manager, but it just reinforces that, what he keeps on doing with this team with all the injuries they've suffered. But Patino is not going to pitch long in this game, Jimmy. We're only going to see him for a couple innings, maybe 3 at the most. They're going to be very, very careful with him. Very, very delicate. He's not going to throw a lot of innings, throw a lot of pitches here. So you're going to see a lot of the Rays bullpen. And after the sweep against Boston this week, they shouldn't have a letdown because, look, Baltimore's right there in the race too now in the wild card. But this is a team that's playing with great confidence. And I'm kind of like you. I kept thinking in the back of my mind, with them now going on the road and traveling and all this, is finally the magic going to wear off a little bit? And it hasn't happened. Confidence travels. Belief travels. Never being out of a game, that no-quit attitude. We saw it with Seattle last night. We'll get to them later. When you're winning and you're on these incredible win streaks, you never believe for a second you're out of any game. All right? You play right to the end. You play every out, every inning, and you never give up on a game when you're on this kind of win streak. We saw it with Seattle last night. We've seen it from Baltimore multiple times. They are just riding the wave of confidence. Everybody's contributing offensively. Rutschman, the catcher's been great. Mancini's been on fire. Cedric Mullins has been terrific. Mountcastle with some big hits. I mean, everybody up and down the lineup contributing. The bullpen's been so much better this year. They're riding a wave here, and it's a wave I'm going to keep riding.
Well, a plus line for you, Babano. We found you a plus 111 at Pinnacle. If anybody can beat that, let me know. Babano's in with the Orioles at plus 111. I am off this spot. Let's roll on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 37-53, 14-29 on the road at the Cleveland Guardians. 44-44, 23-19 at home. Rob Free rolling with you. So you got good company. Drew Hutchinson going up against Zach Plesac. Drew Hutchinson, maybe we gave up on him a little early up in Toronto. He's been pretty good. Last start, 4-2 loss at the White Sox, but it was a quality start. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, and 1 walk. 1-4, the 4.08 ERA, 1.36 whip. And he has been better. The sample size is small, but he's been better on the road than he has been at home. On the road, a 173 opponent's batting average. Going up against Zach Plesac, who's been very good at home. 2-7, 3.99 ERA, 1.24 whip. Last out, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-1 loss at the Royals. But at home, he's 1-2 with a 2.85 ERA, 263 opponent's batting average. And the Guardians continue to get a lot of contact versus righties. 257 average, 721 OPS. And the pimp slap play of the day. Sorry, I did copy and paste. That is the no-run first inning in the Rays game. Pimp slap play of the day, numero uno. So let's see what we are dealing with. First, let's talk weather quickly before we hand it over to Babano. It's humid. Oh, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's not humid. 80 Fahrenheit in Cleveland, 8.1 miles per hour in. 8.1 miles per hour in. Then we'll take a look at the line history here in this one and pull that up right here. Detroit, Cleveland, little AL Central showdown. We have what is it here? Sorry, no movement. Minus 185 is Cleveland right now. Let me just double check that. It's kind of messed up here. I'll quickly double check if that is the case here. Opened up minus 185 for Cleveland, and it's still there, minus 185. So this total here, I'm expecting a good start from Plesac. This total here at 8.5, juice to the under. It opened at 8. So it's moved up to 8.5. That's interesting. Let's see where the cash lies in this one. We have 5,321 tickets in, 25% of the tickets, and 84% of the cash on Detroit. Wow. And it's gone up to 8.5. So I'm confused. I guess, what are they saying, that Plesac's going to get touched here? That's why it's gone from 8 to 8.5, and that's why all the money's on Detroit. That's what the market's saying here. 54% of the tickets and 84% of the cash on the over, and it's gone from 8 to 8.5. Shed some light here. I thought this might be a game I'm making a move on, but I'm very uncomfortable with the market moves. Take it away, Tigers, Guardians.
Neither of these teams scream like an over team right now to me. I mean, when you look at Cleveland's offense, 4, 1, 0, and 4 in the last 4 games, all of them staying under the total. Detroit hasn't been able to hit their way out of a wet paper bag during this 1-6 slide. In their last 7 games, they've given up 0, 2, 1, 0, 2, 3. They're not hitting the ball a ton. And look, both of these pitchers have been better lately. I know Zach Plesac had a rough beginning of the year. He was awful early on, but it's a different Zach Plesac right now. You trace it back to June 17th. He's given up 1, 0, 2. Last start, he struggled a little against Kansas City, but still, for the most part, the last 5 or 6 starts, he's been a lot better. He's got a good track record against Detroit. He's held them to 2 runs each of his last 2 starts against them. Hutchison shut down Cleveland when he faced them. 2 runs, 1 earned in 5 innings. He's actually pitched very well since rejoining the rotation. July 5th, July 10th against Cleveland, against the White Sox. He's given up just a total of 3 earned runs in 11 innings. So look, he's a crafty veteran. Blue Jays, of course, many years ago. He doesn't throw hard, but he knows how to change speeds, mix it up, keep hitters off balance. He's crafty enough. He's got enough guile to be able to do that. And it's not like he's facing a Cleveland lineup that is smashing the ball necessarily right now. So maybe it's going to be it could be a nice night for baseball. I expect it to be relatively mild. Is that reason enough for this total to go from 7.5, 8 to 8.5? I'm not so sure with these 2 lineups right now. So I'm not betting the game, but now that the total's been pushed up, I'm kind of leaning toward maybe a more value now, first 5 full game under.
I get it. And Jack Cal, if you got some time, head up to Toronto so I can force feed my balls in your mouth and hear you gag and fucking gag. There's other shows you can watch. Oh, me, fucking dick. All right. We move on to 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners at Texas Rangers. Mariners are 48-42, 24-22 on the road. Rangers 41-46, 21-23 at home. Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. The roof will be closed. It's very hot in Texas. Robbie Ray going up against Matt Bush. Matt Bush on the hill, so that means it's a bullpen day for these Rangers. Robbie Ray's last start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 6 Ks, 2 walks, and a 2-1 win at home versus the Jays. 3.51 ERA, 1.11 whip. He started out terribly this year, but he's really, really come together here. Mariners rating 235, 703 OPS versus righties. Rangers 236, 673 OPS versus righties. Let's take a look at the line history in this spot here to see if the Mariners keep winning baseball games. Let's grab it right here. Ray opened up at minus 180. There's been a 20-cent move to the Texas Rangers. From a total perspective, opened up at 8 as a pick'em. There has been a 10-cent move to the under. And cash-wise here, we have half line value on the Texas Rangers. 3,908 tickets in, 19% of the tickets on the Rangers, and 63% of the cash. Then it's 50-50 ticket-wise for the total, and 72% of the cash on the under. Take it away here, Babano, Mariners, Rangers.
Same thing for me as Baltimore, Seattle. First 5 full game. We're riding this team on the hot streak. And look, I got a little fortunate last night with Seattle's comeback because it was a horrible start for Marco Gonzalez last night. They had to dig their way out of an early deficit, but they did. Like, again, there's no quit. There's no game we can't come back. That's the kind of attitude you play with when you're on this kind of win streak. The confidence is oozing through the baseball team. You're never out of a game, and they're playing like it right now. And they've got Robbie Ray, who's been absolutely outstanding, for the better part of the last several starts on the mound for the Seattle Mariners. And whatever bad start he had in April and May, it's a rearview mirror shit right now. He's been terrific, really, since the early part of June and straight into July. That's really when the season turned for him. 0-1-1-0-1-1. I mean, that's what we've seen from Robbie Ray now in 6 straight starts, 5-1 the Mariners in his last 6 starts. One of those, and one of the actually good starts he had back in April, there weren't many. It came against this Texas team. He only gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. Seattle won that game 6-2. You're going to get Matt Bush making a spot start here for the Rangers. He's done this 3 times this year, and he's only pitched an inning. So he's basically going to be an opener. You're going to see a lot of Rangers relievers after that. Robbie Ray's been dominant. I think it was a pretty straightforward decision with the confidence the Mariners are playing with. They just found a way to win last night, even after falling behind early in that game. So I'm going to go with Seattle -0.5, -110. In the first 5, and I'm also going to lay the $1.48 at BetOnline right now with Seattle as well in the full game. Yeah, Seattle -148.
Full game -148. I apologize for giving the stats of the Rangers versus righties when Rob Ray's on the mound. Clearly, my apologies. And they hit lefties hard. Interesting to see the line value on the Rangers. So, and we see this often. And remember when the Sharps were hammering the Browns every game when they were, couldn't buy themselves a victory. But here you have Texas with line value and Tampa Bay with some line value. But people betting the Mariners and the Orioles just keep cashing.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
Mariners first 5 -0.5, -110. Full game -148. What did this total do? I'd like to take another look at this total. It moved 10 cents to the under. I like this Rangers bullpen. And you have to think that even though the Rangers can hit lefties hard, that Ray's going to have another nice start. Kenny V says you miss Ray in Toronto yet. I mean, look, Gausman has been better than Ray over the entire season at this point. So I'm very fine with the signing. But, yeah, Ray's on right now. So at this point, I would like to move on this first 5 under. What was the cash flow here on the total once more? Sorry, it'll just take me a second. It was 49.72. Yeah, I'm going to move on the first 5 under here. First 5 under, and even possibly a full gamer. But first 5 under for sure. I'm going to put the full game under with question marks. All right, we move on. Babano doubling up on the Mariners' first 5 and full game. And he's on the Orioles full game. And others. But those were the games we just recently broke down. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago White Sox 44-45, 45-20 on the road. At the Minnesota Twins 49-42, 26-20 at home. We're at Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota. First instinct seeing White Sox against a lefty, I was like, well, got to bet the White Sox. There was a 5-cent move to the Twins. Now, so why would this be? So I wanted to talk it out with you guys before making a move, and that's been working much better than just going with my gut. 84 Fahrenheit at first pitch at target, 7.3 miles per hour in, moves to 7.5 miles per hour in. It's always straight in. Take a look at the line history in this White Sox Twins spot. And still just a 5-cent move to the Twins. This total opened up at 8.5. It moved to 9. It's at 9 as a pick 'em. Then we'll look at where the cash lies in this one. White Sox Twinkies, 6,456 tickets in. 49% of the tickets, 77% of the cash on the White Sox. But market moving towards the Twins is confusing. Then you have 81% of tickets on the over, 71% of cash on that over. Kopech going up against Smeltzer. Kopech, 2-6, 3.35 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. His last start, 4-2 win at home versus the Tigers. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 3 walks. On the road, he's been a little worse than he's been at home. 3.51 ERA, 2.26 opponent's batting average. Smeltzer's last start, he only lasted 3 1/3 innings at Texas. So Texas smashes lefties. What would you say is the difference here? And the difference is that Smeltzer's at home, where he's much better than he's been on the road. On the road, he struggles at home, 2-1 with a 2.10 ERA. Opponents hitting 173 against him. White Sox smash lefties. Twins hit righties very hard. And the total's moving to the over. Why isn't money moving on the White Sox? Maybe Babano can shed some light for us. White Sox Twinkies, take it away.
Well, for the White Sox too, they need as many wins in this series as possible. If they're going to get back in the division race, this is a team you got to try to track down. You would expect, this team to want to bounce back or to keep it going after a big win last night. I like over the total. I really like this over. Yeah, it's gone up from 8.5 to 9. I really like it. That's the bet I've locked in. I'm staying off the side because, I do think Minnesota's the better team. I do think they can hit Kopech, but at the same time, the White Sox have won 3 in a row. Is it a sign that they're starting to get their game together, after just a lot of injuries, a lot of underachieving? In the first half of the year, but they're starting to put it together. And I know Smeltzer's got good numbers at home, but it's still the White Sox against a lefty. They hit .310 against lefties and 5.5 runs per game the last 10 games. Overall, their numbers for the season against lefties are strong. And Smeltzer, again, on the road his last start, but still, it was a start where he struggled. Kopech is kind of, I don't want to say he's been horrible, but, he's been hit around a little bit. Some of his last few starts, he struggled against the Angels, 4 runs, 5 hits, 5.1 innings, got mashed by Minnesota when he just faced them about 10 days ago, 6 runs allowed, 4.2 innings, 8-2 win for the Twins in that game. Pretty sure I was on the over in that game as well. That last start Kopech made against the Twins. I think he'll get hit a little bit by Minnesota tonight, just like he did in the last time he faced them. Again, he's got great stuff, but his stuff's staying over the plate. And, teams that even with fastball pitchers, exactly right, Don Mac, great point. I was thinking of the way to say it. Yeah, he looks like he's dealing with some arm fatigue right now, Kopech. No question about that. And I think that you're seeing that. He's just not been as crisp. His stuff hasn't been popping like it was earlier in the season. So I think Minnesota hits him. White Sox against the lefty, sign me up. I think their offense, which actually is starting to hit it now, and we certainly saw that last night, can hit Smeltzer. Neither bullpen scares me. So I like runs tonight, and I agree with the move up in the total. I'll go on 9 over 9 minus 105.
Over 9 minus 105. The whole breakdown makes sense to me, and I'm going to uncomfortably stay off the White Sox here. Joe Yurkovich on that over as well. Yeah, I get it. I completely get it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to run with it. It was not. This game I was very, very interested in breaking down with everybody, and I can see why you guys are on the over. I'm going to continue thinking about this spot. Moose Money says Kopech probably still dealing with that knee injury. He says if it's his landing leg, it can create a lot of problems trying to stabilize, which means control really suffers. That's great stuff. Great stuff. Sammy Comer, White Sox World Series, sitting at 50-1. 50-1. That was fun. That was a fun one. Let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Oakland Athletics, 30-60, 19-29 on the road at the Houston Astros, 58-30. 27-12 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Cole Irvin going up against Jake Odorizzi. So these pitchers just faced the opposition last start. Cole Irvin was where he pitches very well at home. What's up?
Cole Irvin.
Oh.
Hold on. Cole Irvin versus Jose Urquidy now, not Jake Odorizzi.
Oh, okay.
Pitching change. Okay.
Jose Urquidy now on the hill for the Astros. Okay, I'm going to have to pull up his information here. But Cole Irvin on the road has been bad. He was good. Quality start against these guys last out, but can he do it again when he's 1-5, 5.27 ERA, 280 opponent's batting average on the road? Christopher Comentini, Jose is in the headquarters of Pop Sports Radio at the Southtown 101, right there, baby, in San Antonio, Texas. A's versus righties, just 206, 588 OPS. Astros versus lefties, 236, 731 OPS. Let's go into the line history here for this one, A's Astros, and see what we are dealing with. Here we go, A's Astros. So we have no movement. There had been 10-cent movement at 1:30 in the morning, but it came back. Had been 10-cent movement towards the Astros. From a total perspective, minus 115 to the under. And when we move over to the cash flow in A's Astros, we have half line value on the Oakland A's and Cole Irvin. 6,973 tickets in. Half line value, but just 8% of the tickets and 12% of the cash on the A's. And then 69% of tickets, 92% cash on the under. So interesting spot. I will study up a little bit on Urquidy as we cap it, but let's hear what Babano has to say. A's Astros.
This really disappoints me because this was going to be an over 8 for me, over the total, especially with it being 8.5, whatever it was with Odorizzi. And now I'm having second thoughts with Urquidy because Urquidy is pretty good. He's been excellent at home. His home ERA is 2.34 this year, which is excellent. So I've got a little bit more of a reluctance to take the over now. And when you're right around the All Star break, you want to trim some of the fat. You don't want to be maybe as high volume. This could end up being a lean only for me toward the over. I don't trust Irvin against the Astros. But another thing that cautions me with the over too is Astros have a banged up lineup right now. Michael Brantley's on the IL. Yordan Alvarez is on the IL. Jose Altuve left the game against the Angels last night with a leg injury. He's questionable. So you could be talking about a lineup down Altuve, Brantley, and Alvarez tonight for the Houston Astros. So that does concern me. Even though Irvin has struggled on the road, the Astros should match up against him. You know, a lefty at home. It's a good profile for the Astros lineup, but could be a little bit of a weakened Astros lineup tonight. So, yeah, I definitely like the over a lot when it was going to be Odorizzi. Now that it's Urquidy, I'm probably going to end up passing.
Lucas Ryan says Ian is dead on correct. This is not the same Astros team without those three. LJ from H-Town says the A's are 2-12 this season on Fridays. A's are 5-21 in game one of a series this season. Great stats from LJ. And he says Astros first 5 under. Astros first 5 under. Jack Rosenblatt leaning towards the Astros, but he says I could see the A's stealing a win here. Interesting. I wonder what's going to change to the market. Now it doesn't. Now I don't know if they'll update this here.
I actually do agree there's some line value on the Oakland A's, but I ain't betting Cole Irvin on the road. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, I agree. It's but still says half. But again, the line value is about Irvin to Odorizzi here. We'll see if that changes with.
You know what's funny? Irvin's home road splits. They're very, very similar to his home road splits against Houston in the past. He's pitched great against Houston and Oakland. In Houston, the last 2 starts, 8 runs allowed in 11 innings for Irvin against the Astros. So it's right hand in hand with his home road splits. He's pitched great against the Astros in Oakland. He's struggled and been hit hard against the Astros here in Houston, here at the Juice Box.
I wonder if he's going to find it easier with this depleted lineup.
That's the thing, though. Yep.
Yeah.
Depleted lineup. Yep.
Noli knows saying A's 109 batting average versus Urquidy as well. Yeah, if we could just trust Irvin here, this would be a slam dunk under. And I still think the gambling community believes that. And that's why even with Odorizzi on the hill, you had 69% of tickets and 92% cash on the under. But can you trust Irvin? That's the $1 million question here. If you can, you easily bet the under. Okay, we're going to keep running. I'm going to put question marks beside that under. We move on to 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Reds 34-55, 16-27 on the road at the St. Louis Cardinals 48-44, 27-20 at home. We're in Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. Joe, you were saying both are under teams, and yeah, Noli gave us great stats on how many unders the Astros are playing to. They're just a under team right now, but we have this vividness bias of them raking. Reds, Cardinals, let's go. We'll start with the weather here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It is 91, feels like 96, hot, 10.6 miles per hour right to left. It stays right to left throughout the game, and it stays right around that 10.6 miles per hour. Look at Stella Girl using an alternate line. Houston, in the Houston game, going under 7.5 at plus 205. Don Mack gets us rolling by saying Green is such a tough cap. Hunter Green up against Andre Palante. Let's take a look at the line history in this Cards spot. Cards Reds battle in the NL Central. The Cards open up at minus 170. There's been a 10-cent move towards the Reds. The Reds have gone from plus 150 to plus 140. From a total perspective, it opened minus 120 to the under. It's now minus 115 to the under. When we look at where the cash lies in this one, we have our third and final team that has full line value, and that is the Cincinnati Reds. So B-Lab has three teams he's got to track today. The Nats, the Reds, and the Red Sox, all with full line value. 8,637 tickets. And then thank you, B-Lab, for doing that. It's huge. We love it. You're such a good team player, man. So thank you so much for putting in that work. And I know it's work because I track all of these guys who do the show, and it's work. It's hard work. So thank you for doing that. Let's go. 6,342 tickets in. 23% of the tickets, 44% of the cash on the Reds. And then 61% of tickets on the under, but just 23% of cash on that under. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to it again. So it's moved 5 cents towards the over. Okay, that makes sense. And it's moved 10 cents towards the Reds. I guess that all correlates and makes sense. Hunter Green last out was very good. It was at home versus Tampa. His splits are almost identical, but he's coming off a nice start at home. 6-3, it's 1 earned run, 9 Ks, 4 walks against the light-hitting Rays who don't hit righties hard. Palante's last start was good. It was a 4-3 win at home versus the Phillies. 5 2/3, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk. And at home, he's been a little better than he's been on the road. 2-2 with a 2.88 ERA. It's not often you see a 2.88 ERA with a 285 opponent's batting average. So he's probably been fortunate in some situations. Reds versus righties, 237, 679 OPS. Cards versus righties, 247, 708 OPS. Take it away here, Babano. Reds, Cards.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy in on Hunter Green here with Reds' first 5 full game split. I'm gonna take them here. And look, they had a good series against the New York Yankees this week. Great job by them. Found ways to win a couple of those games. Give them credit for that. 2 or 3 at the Bronx. And then keep in mind the way they played lately. They swept Tampa Bay at home in very impressive fashion. I like the way the Reds are playing right now, and I'm still buying in on Hunter Green. I mean, it's been a lot of walk issues this year. The long ball has been a problem, but he finally, in his last start against Tampa Bay, put it together. 1 run, 3 hits, 6 innings. It was a solid start. It was a much better outing from Hunter Green. That's the kind of stuff I think he has. I think he's going to be good for this team long term. He's just got to iron out the control, the command, find some consistency. I'm not a big Palante guy, and to be quite honest with you, they're only 1-4 in his last 5 starts. He's been up and down. He hasn't pitched necessarily great. He's not going to necessarily pitch deep into the game. And when you look at it, the Reds bullpen, it's actually pitching to a 3.24 ERA as a bullpen their last 10 games. They pitched a lot better, the Cardinals, as of late. So, I like the way Hunter Green's pitching. I'm not fully on board with Andre Palante necessarily for the Cardinals. I like the way the Reds are playing at the moment. So I look at it here. I'm going to take them in the first 5, which I can get plus 120. Best price out there with the first 5 on the Reds, and also full game money line, the usual. Ian Cameron full game first 5 split, and best price for the full game appears to be plus 146 at Heritage. So there you go.
Beautiful. Plus 146. We will lock you in with. And yeah, I can't beat that. I like it. I think that all makes sense to me. I don't want to double up personally. Chip Plylar, much love, man. Thank you for always having our back. Since day one, you've supported Peter Loshak and myself, and it means the world to us. So thank you, Chip. You're a good man. Pimp slot play today, number 2, St. Louis first 5 over 4.5. Ron Crawford says cards play. I can't double up here. And let's go. I'm just going to pop into Hunter Green's last couple starts here. Is what I would like. So we know he's coming off a nice one. How many has it been here in a row for him? I like that this should be the time of the year where, as some other pitchers deal with arm fatigue, this young fireballer should be able to keep just firing. 22 years old, So he got touched by the Mets. He shut down a Rays offense that's not hitting, but those other 3 he's been facing, the Cubs are hitting righties. Dodgers, we know, smash righties. And the Brewers are surprisingly good against righties. So then he faces a team that's not good versus righties. And he gets to them. And then you have a Cards team that's 247, 708 OPS. But full line value, I'm close. I'm going to keep studying it. Put a couple question marks and a couple asterisks. All right, so we have Babano doubling up here. Reds first 5 at plus 120, full game at plus, what did you say, 146?
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't fill that in. And Pimp Slap number 2, St. Louis first 5 over 4.5. Let's roll on. 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 38-52, 18-29 on the road at the Colorado Rockies. 41-49, 26-22 at home. Eric Jones sees a 28-cent move to the Reds. 28-cent move, and I only saw a 10 over at Bet365. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Eric. Very helpful to know it's even bigger at other books. Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Let's go over to the weather in Colorado. 85 Fahrenheit, 12.7 miles per hour left to right. And it doesn't stay that way. After 2 hours of action, it becomes out to right field and out at 9.9 miles per hour. So keep that in mind for any live action or any thoughts there that it's going to. And let me just refresh this again. I like to refresh the weather near the end of the show to make sure that we have just the latest information. Oh, wow. Look at it. The weather in Colorado is so wild. Thank God I did that, or else I would have been giving you bad information. The weather has changed quite a bit. So all of a sudden, it's now 14.2 miles per hour, slightly out to right off the top. And then it dies all the way down to 8.8 miles per hour, and it's in. This should be something that's constantly checked at some of these parks where the weather changes and the wind changes so drastically. Wow. All right. So then let's move over to the line history here in Rockies Buccos. We have Quintana versus German Marquez and a 5-cent move to the Pirates. There was a 10-cent move, but it's come back 5. And then from a total perspective, it opened at minus 120 to the under. It's now minus 115 to the over. Ron Crawford says Pittsburgh team total over, being cashing, keep rolling. AJ is on the Pirates' first 5 and run line. First 5 and the run line. Mark Schlingberg says Pirates it is then. Interesting, because I wonder if Jose Quintana is going to deal with arm fatigue himself. I wonder if Jose Quintana is capable of keeping this good season going. And I want to bet against it. I really do. And I also want to bet against him on the road. And I'm interested that you guys are all on Pittsburgh here. Quintana, 2-4, 3.59 ERA, 1.31 WHIP, 78 Ks, and 85 and a third. His last start at the Brewers, he went 4 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks. Nobody thought he'd have a 3.59 ERA on the season. We all thought that he was barely holding on to a job in the league. 4.41 ERA, 254 opponents, batting average on the road. German Marquez is starting to look better. God, he got off to a horrific start, and he's been so bad at home. So he's got a 5.66 ERA, 1.47 WHIP, but at home, 1-3, 7.17 ERA. Opponents are hitting 320 against them. Moose Money says over. Only reason Manaea didn't give up more runs was a great Mazzara catch. Said score would have looked much, much different. Jack Jenkins also on the Pittsburgh money line. Whew. Okay, so Pirates versus righties, just 226, 63 OPS, and Rockies smash lefties, 287, 792 OPS. I really, really find this one fascinating, this game, and I can't wait to hear the breakdown. There's 6,229 tickets in. 63% of the tickets, 74% of cash on the Rockies. 52% of tickets, 77% of cash on the over. And if that's the case, if money's coming in on the Rockies, then why is the market moving towards the Pirates? This is confusing. Can you shed some light? Pirates, Rockies, Babano, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you in the sentiment about Quintana. Bet the over ERA for Quintana's second half compared to the first half. Or if there was a prop, will his ERA be higher in the second half than it was in the first half of the season? Yes, it will. I think he's going to have a tough time navigating his way through a full season and maintaining the 3.59 ERA he has to this point. We know his road numbers go up a little bit. That's definitely a concern. Facing the Rockies, who smash lefties, they're number 2 in team OPS against lefties this year in Major League Baseball. That's definitely a concern. And the Rockies are hitting at home. I don't know if I can buy into Marquez, though. That's the problem. I know he pitched better in the last 2 starts, but again, those came on the road against the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Dodgers start wasn't great, but I guess 4 runs, 6 hits. You got through 6 innings against that lineup. That's not bad. Last start against Arizona was very good for him, 2 runs in 7 innings. But I mean, start after start this year for him in this ballpark at Coors Field has been ugly. 5 runs, 3 innings against the Dodgers in this park. 4 runs, 8 hits, 5 innings against San Diego in this park. 7 runs and 5 innings against Miami in this ballpark. 5 runs, 11 hits, 6 innings against the Mets back in May. It's been one horrible, horrible start after another for Germán Marquez here at Coors Field. I can't trust the guy at home. Simple as that. He's been absolutely terrible. 7.17 ERA at home. So give me another over here at 11. We saw a couple of slugfests in a row with the Padres-Rockies series. I don't trust either of these starters. We know Pittsburgh's hitting a little bit, but I'm worried about the Pirate bullpen. Pirate bullpen got extended yesterday against Miami and no day off, traveled to Denver. So that's a depleted bullpen. Had to throw a bunch of innings yesterday in that game against the Miami Marlins that went to extra innings. And Thompson only went 6.2 innings, and then they had to go to extra innings. And when you look at Colorado, too, their bullpen has really had to throw a lot of innings, and it's definitely creating some problems with the back end of their bullpen. They haven't had a day off here in the month of July so far. And look at the innings that the starters have given them lately. I mean, no one's gone more than 6. The last 2, Cool and Freeland, went 4 innings. That's about it. So you've got a lot of volatility on the bullpens, I think, of both of these teams coming into tonight. So I like the over here, 11.
I think it makes a ton of sense. I think it absolutely makes a ton of sense here to make a move on this over. And I would like to join you. It's too bad that I can't move on the Rockies. I wish that I was able to. So what's your expectations of Marquez in the second half of the season, Babano?
I don't think he's going to be as good as he was in the first half. Like I say, bet over 4.6
Marquez, Germán Marquez.
Oh, Marquez. Marquez. Look, he's been better the last 2. Maybe he pitches well tonight because he's really pitched better the last 2 starts. But again, I've got to see it at Coors. Okay, I've not seen him pitch good. Has he had one good home start this year? I don't think he has. Or certainly, I mean, if you look at his game log this year, it's been crushed one start after another here in this ballpark. So I've got to see evidence. I think he's got capable stuff. He's shown he can pitch here solid in this ballpark. It hasn't happened yet this year, but I'm not going to bet on that turning around until I see it. And all I've seen is just him getting crushed, him getting walloped in every single start at Coors Field. And you're facing a Pirates lineup that, again, since they got O'Neal Cruz and Madris and these young kids up there, they've been hitting the ball much better the last month or so compared to their full season offensive numbers. So he's going to have to show it to me, Marquez.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's funny. He got the season off to a great start. The very first start of the year at home against the Dodgers, it's 7 innings, allows 1 run. And then from then on out, he's just been getting laced.
Yep.
Wow. I like this look towards the over. I think it makes sense to me. I'm going to sorry, let's line shop for you, Babano, before I sit here humming and hawing. I think that this will be a spot where I tail you on the over 11. We have it at minus 105 at Pinnacle. Let me know if anyone can beat that. Babano over 11 at minus 105. So that means that it's slightly juiced to the under here at Pinnacle.
Yep.
Why would that be? Why would that be? Let me just.
That does look like the best one. Yeah. Over 11 minus 105.
Why would that be? Jack Rosenblatt says 7 of the last 8 games between the Pirates and Rockies have gone under the total. Huh. And then we go to so Pinnacle has a juice to the under, and we have 52% of tickets and 77% of the cash on the over. Why would Pinnacle be doing this? Okay, I'm gonna need some more time to think on this spot. What is Bet365? I guess they'll probably have it at a pick'em, I'd be guessing. No, they have a juice to the over. Mike M says I think this goes under. Huh. Okay, let's keep rolling. We have 3 games left on the card. That one's tough. 9:38.
She's even gave up 7 runs against Washington at home back on May 2nd, Marquez. It's just endless. Just the shellackings, the beatings that he's taken in this ballpark. Wow.
Yeah, it's wild. A lot of people talking about Jose's big run on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Jose, do you have interest in going back to the Pirates well here? What are your thoughts on the Pirates offense in this spot against Marquez?
God, hold on. There we go. Well, I think it's interesting just because every time I say this often on Say Hey, every time Marquez and Senzatella come up, I automatically first instincts like, well, it's time to fade him. I haven't bet the Pirates in a minute. Like I said, I stopped betting them after my man Brian Reynolds went on the IL. Team totals are kind of tough. I typically think it's kind of tough because it's a high number, and the Pirates kind of scare me. You don't typically see these as high, like a 5.5. Like I've been betting 4, 3, 3.5s, stuff like that on the run. But ultimately, like it's still Germán Marquez. I haven't done my full cap on the card, obviously. I still would like to fade him in most instances, and I think you guys said it. I mean, the home road splits definitely tell a story with Germán. Let me pull him up myself real quick. As I do that, I will say his last 2 starts, 4 runs and 2 runs. Arizona and the Dodgers are both on the road, so it makes sense that he has a 7.17 ERA, and a 4.20 ERA on the roads, or at home, I should say. So, yeah, on the road. But, yeah, I think that Germán at home is a fade.
I find this one tricky. Okay, thanks for the heads up, Jose. We'll move on now to 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers at Los Angeles Angels, the Freeway Series in L.A. 58-30 are the Dodgers, 28-17 on the road. And the Angels just continue to free fall, 39-51, 22-25 at home. Let's take a look at the weather in Anaheim for this one. 77 Fahrenheit, 8.4 miles per hour straight out. Going to be packed at Angel Stadium tonight. Clayton Kershaw versus Patrick Sandoval. Kershaw coming off a really nice start in a 4-2 win at home versus the Cubs. He's been a little worse on the road, 4-2, 2.73 ERA, 228 opponents batting average. Overall, he's got a 2.40 ERA, 1.01 whip, but 10 strikeouts and 7 2/3 in his last start. Going up against Patrick Sandoval, who also is coming off a very good start and 10 strikeouts as well. It was a 1-0 loss at the Orioles, but man, he looked dynamite. And he's been great all year, 2.59 ERA, 1.39 whip. Splits are very not important here. He seems to pitch well on the road and at home. Dodgers versus lefties, 247, 732 OPS. Angels versus lefties, 233, 688 OPS. Let's take a look at the line history and where the cash is before we hand it over to Babano. Here we have these Dodgers opening up minus 210. They got up to minus 220. Back to minus 210. Then the 8:31 this morning, there was a 25-cent move towards the Angels. Or I shouldn't say that. The Dodgers became cheaper. They went from minus 210 to minus 185. The Angels only moved 10 cents. And then back to minus 200 at 10:34 a.m. So minus 200 with Kershaw against Sandoval. This total opened up at 8 and it dropped to 7.5. So I guess the betting public does not care about the offensive weather. And they just see these lefties on the mound and expect these lefties to throw nice. There is slight line value, according to Sports Insights, on the Angels. 6,695 tickets in. 90% of the tickets on the Dodgers and just 40% of the cash. Wow. So a clear expectation that Patrick Sandoval is going to deal here tonight. 55% of tickets on the under and 66% of cash on the under. Wow. Take it away here, Babano, Kershaw, Sandoval. Is this shaping up all of a sudden to be a first 5 plus a half on the Angels? Take it away, Babano.
It might. They're coming back off it's not much of a road trip. I mean, they just went on the road for one series against St. Louis, but they didn't have a day off, and you're coming back home, or not home, but LA, Angel Stadium here, the West Coast. So, we'll see how the Dodgers fare here, but from a spot scheduling standpoint, no day off travel. Maybe that's part of it. Problem is, I can't get behind this Angels lineup right now. I can't. I mean, they're struggling. They're having a tough time at the moment. Hitting the baseball. Last night shut down by Valdez and the Astros. We don't know if Mike Trout's going to be in the lineup for them. Questionable for this game. Other than Ohtani, it's been a lineup where Walsh, sometimes you get something, sometimes you don't. Ward, same thing. I mean, that's what you've really gotten from the Angels lineup. Kershaw on the mound here for them. Obviously, since returning, for the most part, he's been pretty good. I'd expect him to be pretty solid here as well in this outing against the Angels. His track record against the Angels is pretty good as well. He shut him out last year when he faced them, and he's given up 1-2 runs or less to the Angels in 6 of the 8 starts he's faced the Angels. So he's pitched well. But so is Sandoval. I like Sandoval quite a bit. I think he's been bet on. He's unfortunately, the Angels haven't been winning for him. They're only 1-6 in his last 7 starts, but it's not really been his fault. It's been that they haven't been able to put up runs and support him necessarily. Like that last start was a heartbreaker against Baltimore. 1 run, 6.1 innings, 10 strikeouts. It was a gem, and the Angels lose that game 1-0. So it's just heartbreaking for Sandoval. So I think it's a decent spot for the Angels, but the lineup is just so putrid. I don't think I can back them. I'd actually look at a first 5 full game under. Yeah, there's some wind blowing out, but I don't trust either offense against these two pitchers. So I'd look at a first 5 full game under.
I think that Patrick Sandoval, he's pitching really well.
He is.
And he's at home. Now, I can't. It's one of those situations where the price that you have to pay to get the plus a half is not worth it to me. The Angels are, for me, with my local, the Angels are plus 160 on the first 5. And then if you want first 5 plus a half, it's minus 115. So you're going to pay I'm not going to pay 75 cents, and I will not turn a big dog like this into a favorite under any circumstance. So I would have to take the Angels first 5 plus 160, which I do have some interest in. Noli Knows says Kershaw 14 games started versus the Angels. Dodgers are 11-3.
Yep.
And you were talking about that as well. Noli Knows, what are you doing here for the?
I don't trust the offense of the Angels against Kershaw. Now, I think Sandoval can go out there and pitch well against the Dodgers. So, but I don't trust the Angels to hit Kershaw. I mean, I just don't love this lineup right now. I know they had a couple games there against Houston, but remember that one game where they put up 7, it was just a shit ton of walks and control issues early in the game for the Houston starter. I believe it was Javier that night. He was just, and they didn't even have to put the bat on the ball, the Angels, to get some of those runs. You force them to hit, they're not hitting right now. So that's why if I were to bet anything here, it'd be a first 5 and a full game under split.
But you don't want to make that official?
No, just because of the wind. The wind is blowing out. That does concern me, especially because sometimes Kershaw can give up the home run ball, especially if the wind's blowing out. But I'd lean that way for sure, under or pass.
No, guys, report the Dodgers are the favorite, big favorite. So, and Noli did not make a move. I'd like to pick his brain about Patrick Sandoval. Interesting. Sammy Comer giving his final score of Dodgers 5, Angels 1. Johnny Gonzalez says Dodgers get to Sandoval. I don't trust L.A. Angel bats. Domi Gunarichi saying Kershaw K-prop is a lean. Okay. Yesterday, maybe this is why I'm thinking about this, was because yesterday was one of those days where I cashed on the White Sox first 5 at plus 145, cashed on the Reds first 5 at plus 145, and I think that's just a bias that's leaning me towards wanting another first 5 big plus line just because I cashed on it yesterday, which is something that happens with me, unfortunately. Okay. I'm going to put some asterisks and some question marks. All right, let's move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. What, Babano, excellent work you've done today. Fighting a good fight, dealing with COVID, and still rocking with us. We love you very much. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Arizona Diamondbacks, 39-50, 17-24 on the road at San Diego Padres, 50-41, 23-20 at home. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. Let's go to the weather in San Diego, California here. 71 Fahrenheit, so it's warm in San Diego tonight. 6.4 miles per hour left to right. Slightly out at first, but then it comes slightly in, and then it's just right across the diamond. So weather not playing a big role in this one. Take a look at the line history in this Padres spot here. Bumgarner, Darvish. I can't wait to talk about this game. We have just a 7 or a 2. The Diamondbacks go from plus 167 to plus 165, and the Padres go from minus 192 to minus 185. There had been a bigger move. At 2:30 in the morning, the Padres were down to minus 175, but they've come back 10 cents. This total is sitting at 7.5, juice to the under. This is very interesting. So again, we have a slight market move towards the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's see where the cash lies here. Domigan says Padres another fade in the second half. Non-applicable says flip a coin pass game. Moose Money says Padres playing sloppy baseball. 50 games in 52 days going into the All Star break. I love all of this info from the chat. We have 5,371 tickets in. 24% of the tickets and 59% of the cash on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, that explains the market. Then 41% of tickets, 77% of cash on the over. Surprisingly warm weather. I guess maybe what's it called? The ocean layer, whatever it's called. Bumgarner, 5-8, 3.65 ERA, 1.35 whip, 91 in the third, 66 Ks, 29 walks, 13 home runs allowed. And it's on the road where he's been much worse than at home. So I'm surprised that the big bets have come in on him, expecting him to pitch well. But the Padres just don't smash lefties anymore. I mean, that was something that happened in the beginning of the year and it's stopped. So maybe that's the angle. Bumgarner coming off a 9-2 win at home over the Rockies when he went 7 strong and looked really good. 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, no walks. Joe Yurkovich says Marine Layer. Thank you, Coin. Thank you. Joe Yurkovich says Padres first game back from Coors. Beware of their bats. Maybe that's another angle here on the Diamondbacks. You Darvish, though, he's so good. He's been so good at home. So why would money be coming in on the over here? 41% of tickets, 77% of cash on the over. Why would that be happening? Darvish, 7-4, 3.38 ERA, 0.99 whip. At home, he's 4-1 with a 1.69 ERA, 158 opponent's batting average. He's been so good. In his last start at home versus the Giants, he was excellent. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. And Diamondbacks don't hit righties. This is tricky. Take it away here for us, Babano. Diamondbacks, Padres.
Yeah, I fell into the trap of betting on Bumgarner the last time he pitched at San Diego, and he got absolutely crushed in that game. You know, he has pitched well, actually, the last 3 starts, and he pitched better against San Diego in Zona, but all 3 starts were at home. On the road, I don't have the utmost faith and confidence in him. And when you look at the Diamondbacks with him on the road, they're only 3-5 this year. Padres 5-3 with Darvish at home. So, but at the same time, minus 180 with this Padres team, struggling to hit, coming off a terrible series against Colorado, traveling back from Coors. All the games they've played, they look tired. They look like they're ready for the All Star break to arrive. So it's a clear, easy pass for me. Nothing to do with this game.
Wow. Yeah, the market is throwing me for a loop. I thought I would have action here. Okay, let's go. Last game on the board, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers 50-40, 29-21 on the road at the Giants, 45-43, 23-22 at home. We're at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Let's go over to the weather first in San Fran. 57 Fahrenheit, 10.6 miles per hour out to left center. It goes down to 8.9. You know, it's swirling out there, so it's not that big of a deal. Let's take a look at the line movement here. The Brewers have taken 15 cents. They had taken 20 cents, but it came back 5 cents at 10:43 a.m. And this total has gone 5 cents to the over. I'm really interested in the cash flow in this one. Very, very interested. Slight line value to Brandon Woodruff and the Milwaukee Brewers. 52% of the tickets, 42% of the cash on Woodruff. 70% of tickets on the over, but just 28% of cash, and it's moved 5 cents towards the over is confusing. And Dommy Gunn says, I already threw out April stats. Now it's May stats. I love the way you do it, Dommy. We all have so much to learn from your ability to succeed at MLB. Anders Larson said, I went with no run first inning, Brewers, Giants. The problem here is, and I'm going to pick out all of his road starts so I can get a better sense of it. But Woodruff has so much skill. 4.01 ERA, 1.14 whip is surprising. He's better than that. 80 Ks, 16 walks. That's a better example. 7 home runs allowed in 16 2/3 is a better example. His last start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 9 Ks, 3 walks in a 4-3 loss at home to the Pirates. On the road, he's been bad this year. 3-3, 5.63 ERA, 277 opponents batting average against Woodruff. Going up against Alex Wood, whose now splits are undiscernible. It doesn't matter. They're same on the road and at home, which surprises me. And he's coming off a beautiful start at the Padres. 7 innings, 3 hits, 8 Ks, 1 walk. Alex Wood, a lefty, can shut down the Padres in San Diego. Then why not Bumgarner, I guess? Brewers versus lefties, 226, 681 OPS. And Giants versus righties, 233, 703 OPS. Jay Peasy says Wood is trash. I've cashed with him at home this year, even though he's been not nearly as good this year as he was last year. Not applicable to San Francisco hitting sucks. Take it away here. Brewers, Giants, Babano.
Yeah, I'm going to go with oh, man, the money's moved on Milwaukee. I kind of agree. I think it was pretty cheap on Woodruff and the Brewers initially. It's up to my – you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with Milwaukee here minus – like the first 5 is even higher. I'm just going to go full game, and I don't normally do that. Normally I split it first 5 or double up, I should say, first 5 and full game. I'm just going to go with Milwaukee full game here in this one, minus 124. At Heritage appears to be the best price currently with that. Yeah, Milwaukee minus 124 and Pinnacle as minus 124 as well. I'm going to go with that. I think Woodruff has been in very good form since he's come back into the rotation. I don't trust Wood fully necessarily in this start. And look, the Giants just aren't hitting. Their numbers against righties lately are absolutely horrible going into this start. You know, the first 5 full game under split could be something to consider in this game as well, but the Giants are not hitting at all. I mean, they got held to 4 hits by Corbin Burns and the Brewers last night. They were very fortunate that game even got to extra innings. Brewers had a ton of base runners that they stranded in that game last night. Otherwise, it could have been a whole lot different. I mean, the Giants in the last 10 games are hitting 181 as a team against righties. I mean, it's just not very good whatsoever. I think the Brewers just have a better lineup, better team. And I'll trust Woodruff a little bit over in this battle of Woodruff versus Wood. I'll trust Woodruff here in this game. So Milwaukee, and I like the way Milwaukee's bullpen's pitched lately as well. So Brewers minus 124.
Yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. The Brewers really struggle versus lefties. Alex Wood coming off a good start. I have interest in this first 5 under, but the first 5 under for the minus 125s have been terrible to me. They just hurt me. They consistently hurt me, and I keep telling myself I won't do it again, but then I do it again. And then the under 3.5 is only minus 105, so they're not even rewarding me for going for it. What are your expectations with Alex Wood here at home against this Brewers lineup that's 226, 681 OPS versus lefties?
They've been, the last few little bit, they've been a little bit better against, but still not great. You're right. For the full season, the numbers aren't great against lefties. Alex Wood, I'll give him credit. Like I say, the last I think 1 run in his last 12 innings he's given up. He's been very good against San Diego and Arizona those last 2 starts. But I'm going to dare him to pitch that way here. I mean, when you look at actually the lineup, San Diego, they haven't hit lefties well lately. Arizona, not a great lineup. Detroit, not a great lineup. Hasn't faced a good lineup since Atlanta, and they crushed him for 6 runs back on June 23rd. Not very good in that start. Faced Kansas City. He's faced Miami. I mean, he's faced some really rough lineups. And I think to be quite honest with you, I mean, I don't make a big deal of strength of schedule in baseball compared to other sports. But if you look at strength of schedule in terms of opposing offenses and opposing lineups for Alex Wood, it's pretty weak. What he's faced so far most of the season. So I think the Brewers take advantage. This is a better lineup, one of the better lineups he's faced this season.
Moose Money is an interesting point, and I'm just close. I don't mean to hit this so hard. I know it's the last game, but I'm close to maybe moving on as well. He says Brewers got to Rodon a bit, so ipso facto, Brewers should have a decent day versus Wood. Do you think it helps them seeing another lefty a second day in a row in the same ballpark in the same conditions?
I think it can. I think it definitely should. Look, Rodon was walking a tightrope that whole start. I mean, let's be honest. Right from the first inning, right till he left the game. I mean, there were ducks on a pond every inning for Milwaukee. He got out of trouble multiple times. So this notion that they got shut down by a lefty last night, the Brewers, let's be careful, because they had threats to score big innings multiple times last night, and they just couldn't get that big clutch hit with runners in scoring position. They get 1 or 2 clutch hits with runners in scoring position. They probably win that game like 8-2 last night instead of 3-2. So just be aware of that. They had some good at bats against Rodon. They just missed that big hit to really bust that game open, and they had multiple chances to do that.
I like it. Respect Top Shelf. Thanks for rolling with us. Top Shelf, by the way, also on the Bombers this evening. Okay, I guess I'm going to need a little bit more time. The only thing that's just giving me a tiny bit of pause is the fact that 48% of tickets are on the Giants and 59% of the cash. There's still big bets coming in on the Giants. It's the only thing that gives me pause. And you talked about you liking what you're seeing from the Brewers bullpen of late, and the Giants bullpen is just not trustworthy. Yep. I'm leaning towards the Brew Crew here, and you guys are right about that Woodruff was getting touched on the road earlier in the season. He's looked better since then. Joe Yurkovich says San Francisco 4-9 in their last 13 at home. I'm interested. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to bet it, but I'm very interested in joining you guys with the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, there is our MLB card broken down, and CFL with our guy Babano fighting a good fight after dealing with COVID for the last week. Respect. And Johnny Gonzalez says one way to be profitable is to fade the market sometimes. That's something that Lee Davis and I have been discussing, and he's tracking the games where the market, where the teams that have been winning have gone against the market. So he's tracking that right now, which will be very interesting to see what he comes up with. Okay, let's review MLB action here for Babano and I. We have Marlins first 5 minus a half is my action. So that's the only bet I've already made. And my ROI is negative on bets I make before the show. So in baseball. Babano is over 9.5 at minus 102 on Braves Nats. That's how he gets his card started. Then he's on the over 8 at minus 105 in Red Sox Yankees. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day is on the Yankees. And I don't want to go up against him, but I think that Eovaldi's going to, as Jose was saying, he just always steps up against the Yankees. It wasn't an arm injury. It was a back injury, which is a problem, but it wasn't an arm injury, so his arm should be nice and rested. I'm interested in Red Sox first 5, and I'm also interested in Red Sox team total over 3.5, and I would prefer not to double up on the game. Say, hey, play of the day. Royals first 5 plus 270, full game plus 301. If it ain't broke. Orioles plus 111 for Babano. Mike M, pimp slap play of the day. Tampa Bay no run first inning. Top Shelf play saying no, Jimmy, no, about the look on the Boston Red Sox. 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Tigers, Guardians, we are off. But Babano doubles up on the Mariners. First 5 minus a half and full game on the money line. And I'm interested in the unders. I'm very interested. So one of at least guaranteed one of those unders is going to be on my card. Babano's on the over 9 at -105 in White Sox Twinkies, and I'm interested, very interested. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. I'm interested in the under in the A's Astros game, but I have a ton of question marks there. I just don't know if I have the balls, as we discussed, to back Irvin on the road. Then Babano's on the Reds, first 5 at +120 and full game at +146. And we've seen him cash these first 5 and full games on dogs often on this show. And he's doing it here. And I'm interested in the Reds as well. I'm interested in trusting Hunter Green here, even though that has not been a profitable thing to do over the season. And Pimp Slap play of the day number 2 is the first 5 over 4.5. Then Babano is on the over 11 at -105 in Pirates Rockies. And I just got to figure out why Pinnacle would have the underjuiced, and I guess I may stay off of that. Nasty Nate says, are those full unit plays from Jose when he goes against they're full unit plays. But the stats he's giving you on those plays are just full game. He did start hitting first 5s after a show with Babano about, I don't know if it's 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah, of course it was 2 weeks ago because Babano had COVID last night. So after that, 2 weeks ago, he started adding the first 5 in all of these spots, and that's been very profitable for him as well. Then Angels first 5, I have interest in. Is that nuts, Babano, to have interest against Kershaw?
No, that's not crazy. You just got to hope they scratch a run or two across the Angels, and that's the part I have trouble trusting the Angels with. I think Sandoval can pitch well. I like Sandoval. I want to back Sandoval. If this team could hit a lick, I'd like them as a potential live home underdog here. But, Kershaw's been throw out Kershaw's bad start at Coors Field. He's been terrific in every other start since coming back, and they're not hitting a lick, the Angels. So that's why I'm off it. I'd lean to the unders there.
And it's a spot where Noli knows isn't on the under, and that also makes me hesitate. Diamondbacks, Padres, the more we talked about it, I don't want to go up against Darvish, but if the Padres can't hit Alex Wood, are they going to hit Madison Bumgarner? I mean, it's a very fair question here. And Top Shelf asking, anyone else catch the Royals money line yesterday? Jose Zenyatta Bouquet did. Then Babano is on the Brewers -124, and I'm very interested to come with him. And Top Shelf says he loves Diamondbacks run line. Okay, so in CFL, Babano's on the over 48 and Stamps Bombers tonight, and the full game -3.5. I'm on the Bombers first half -2.5. I haven't bet it yet. It was after breaking it down with Babano. Then Roughriders, Argonauts. We both kind of lean towards the Argos with pulling the Roughriders out of Mosaic, because this game again is in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, at Arcadia University. But also the idea that this front, very tough defensive front for the Roughriders, is going to be quite depleted. Then I'm on first time this has happened, I believe, double ups on the exact same spots for Babano and I. We are both on the Ticats first quarter and first half to come out of this bye week and smash a Red Blacks team at least early. That is Caleb Evans starting. And all we can do is hope that Babano will be sitting in Tim Hortons field watching a game in this beautiful summer night. I sure hope so too. Yeah. We all hope that for you, my man. Great job fighting a good fight. Let's all give Babano love here in the chat. It's not easy. And will this be the Jordan flu game? We will track Babano's action as always and see if it is. Don't forget, Big Show Picks dropped a parlay. I'm going to pop it in the chat for you guys all. He dropped a parlay for LFA tonight, and he gave us a winning parlay last Friday in LFA. So there it is right there. Matsumoto, Lopez, and Oliveira is the parlay from Big Show Picks. Ouroboros. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's what I say, and I believe it. Okay, great stuff, Babano. Get better, my friend. Get better. Thank you to everybody here supporting the show. It means a ton to us. Top Shelf Plays, Joe Yurkovich, not applicable. Rants in the house. Welcome, everybody, Matt Pollins, AJ, Deacon Mike, Don Mac, Jack Rosenblatt, Mark Schillingberg, Dave Redling, Nasty Nate, What a great group. Lucas, Ryan, Kenny V, all of you guys. Dommy Gun, Ricci. Thank you guys for your support. Jay Peasy, Cheshire Cat, all you guys, it means the world to us. Thank you guys for supporting. It means a ton. Jose, as always, a great job producing the show. You've really come into your own on camera the last month. I've just loved every second of it. Thank you for your hard work. And Babano, we love you. Get better soon. Any last words for the Cappers support in the chat, Babano? And then even with that low, we want to hear that low voice, Leche us into the future.
Oh my gosh, we got Leche with the low voice. All right. But thanks to everybody. Appreciate the birthday wishes as well. It was much appreciated. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, the usual shit. Appreciate it. Nice to be back. It is. And hopefully next week we got full power, 100%. The vocal cords are back, and baritone Babano can go away after this week. Well, hopefully that will be the case. But yeah, let's. Great show, Jimmy. Thanks as always. Good luck everybody this weekend with your wagers, and let's Leche and Los Bookmakers.